Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Upper St. Clair Panther Stadium. We've got another big conference football game. If you can believe it, 4 straight very difficult conference games. Tonight, the Moon Area Tigers come into town to battle our undefeated Upper St. Clair Panthers. That is music to my ears. The Panthers are 8-0, 3-0 in the conference, and they're rolling right now. I am blessed tonight to be joined by somebody. He's going to get embarrassed by my build-up, but you're talking about the all-time winningest coach in the WPIAL, a legend in Upper St. Clair and also the state of Pennsylvania football. Coach Jim Render. Coach, thank you so much for joining me. I think that everybody's going to be very, very interested and entertained to hear what you have to say tonight about this Panther team and how well they are playing right now.
They're playing very well. I will say this. You remember last year the Moon game went into overtime. And this team has battled everybody pretty well. As a coach, I'm a little worried. Of course, I worried about everything, but this I don't think will be a cakewalk.
Well, it's
I hope I'm wrong.
It's interesting that you say that. So I went down and talked to a bunch of the coaches before the game, and that was sort of the mindset they had. And there's two things that's happening here. Potential letdown because you played 3 rival games in a row and they've all gone your way, but they've been tough football games. The other part of it is, and this is a very athletic team. 2 different coaches said to me, this is the most athletic football team we have faced this season.
Is that right?
Yes. So it's a different challenge, but a challenge nonetheless. So let's get into this real quickly before we cede to the band. Moon is 1-2 in the conference. That being said, their 2 losses in the conference are a game they lost on a last-second touchdown to Bethel Park, which was a really incredible game, and then a game against Peters Township, who we know is very good, where they led at halftime. And the other interesting component about that is, this is a very veteran team, juniors and seniors, and when you have veteran football teams, they're not just going to walk in here and lay down. That's just not the way it works. So, yes, I think everybody is on guard and ready for a challenge tonight.
Well, I hope so. I spoke to the team at the pasta dinner 2 weeks ago, and my message that night was focus. In fact, I told him to greet Mike Junker the next morning when you see him. Don't say good morning, say focus. I did that one time when I was the coach, and I was just trying to send the message that last week is over. It was a nice win, but that's over. And we have got to go forward. So I hope that they're focused again. To go undefeated, you got to have a lot of things.
24-25 edition of the band.
Little luck.
We welcome the USC varsity cheerleaders.
The band's coming on, Gavin. Take it away.
All right, we see the pride of the Upper St. Clair Panthers, the marching band. We'll see you in a little.
We will open with the international award-winning hit by the English rock band Muse. This is Uprising. And now the USC Victory March. At this time, if you can, please rise. And gentlemen, please remove your hats for the playing and singing of the national anthem, followed by our USC alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Panther Stadium on the campus of Upper St. Clair High School for tonight's WPIAL Class 5A Allegheny 6 Conference matchup. It features the visiting Moon Tigers and your Upper St. Clair Panthers. The Upper St. Clair School District and the WPIAL promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the Panthers, Tigers, and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, sexist, or any other abusive comments, or any other intimidating actions that are directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and a grounds for removal from the stadium. We value the safety of our student athletes, coaches, and game day staff, and spectators are prohibited from entering the playing surface before, during, and after the game. In accordance with school policy.
All right, we're back again, and thanks to the band who's doing their usual incredible work. You know, it's interesting. There's a couple things I want to talk about in terms of this Moon Tiger football team. I want to try to set the scene here as to what you're going to see tonight. I think by now you probably get a lot of the stuff that Upper St. Clair is going to do. They want to run the ball and pound it. But with Moon, they're a little more versatile than some of these teams we're playing, and it starts with the quarterback position. Number 9, Andrew Cross, you're going to see the junior. He's a dual-threat guy, very athletic. He is committed to Penn State for baseball already. But if you've watched him play, he makes a lot of plays with his feet. He makes a lot of plays outside the pocket. That obviously concerns you as a Panther football coach. So this is an interesting thing to talk about too. Their big play man, who's a wide receiver, Jared Moyer, who's been the guy who's really sort of caught a lot of long touchdowns and things like that. He got into a fight in the Baldwin game last week. It was a blowout, got ejected, and he is suspended for tonight's game. So, let that be a lesson to you. You got to keep your cool.
Yeah.
And so he is not playing tonight. So the guy you're going to be watching for in both the run and pass game is number 6, Paul Brana. He does some running back. He does some wide receiver. Very versatile, very tough. The other guy that is really an effective football player for them is Nick Clemens, number 40. He's a defensive end and a fullback, plays some as a wingback. Very, very disruptive. This Moon team is physical. The coaches wanted me to stress that. This is going to be a challenge like it was last week against Bethel if we want to ground and pound like we do, and our offensive line, who's been so outstanding this year, really has a challenge ahead of them tonight.
Well, our offensive line, they're up to challenges. I mean, they remind me of some of the teams I had. I never had a lot of 6'6" guys or 290 guys. I had a lot of runts, so to speak, 5'11", 6 foot, 225, but tough. And this offensive line kind of reminds me of some of my good ones.
I think they remind me, of a little bit of the 2006 team, our last state championship team, because again, you had guys that may not have been, going to Pitt or anything like that, but you talk to Dan Mulholland, the Jeremy Blocks. That's who the Nate Stolls, the Brock Gillespies remind me of. Just tough, hard-nosed, smart football
You
players.
said it better than I did, Gavin. Jeremy Block came to mind because he was, by lineman standards today, he was a runt, I guess you'd say. That's why I got him into Wittenberg. And
All right, so we got a little sideline report going. This is our first one of the evening. Lily, take it away. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Gavin. Upper St. Clair, they come into this game undefeated and top of the 5A conference. Now, this doesn't come easy. The 5A conference is one of the toughest it's been in a very long time. I spoke to head coach Mike Junker, and he told me his boys are hungry, especially his senior class. He said, my seniors didn't make the playoffs last year. They got to see what it was like to sit home and not get that chance to play. He said this year, they have the opportunity to win it all, and they are hungry too. Now, he said that his offense is much more confident in himself. Last Friday, the offense relied heavily on the pass game to beat an undefeated Bethel Park. Now, Upper St. Clair is known for their run-heavy offense, but being able to pass the ball late in the game and win a competitive football game gave his offense more confidence. Lastly, Coach Junker told me what an honor it's been to coach such a great group of individuals. He said they come so excited to practice in games each and every week. Gavin.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that, Lily. It's one of these situations right now where I do think it's a stressful thing, Coach, and have a lot more experience with this than me, game planning. When you've had this many tough competitive games in a row, and you talked about it a little bit, how on earth do you get these kids to continue to lock in and understand how important and how urgent every one of these games is?
Well, it's not easy, I'll say that. When I talked to him, I wanted him to focus on the next game. When you're going through something like this, fans tend to pat you on the back. And I was worried after the Peters game that they would have too many pats on the back, and it was time to redirect. And if you want to go undefeated, you got to figure that out, and you got to focus on what's coming up, not what already happened.
And that's easier said than done. The one thing I know from my coaching career is that these are kids, and kids, when you're praising them all the time and telling them how great they are, they tend to listen. So it does concern you for sure.
On the other hand, I think some of that happens at all levels.
Oh, no question.
There's every week there's a pro football team that loses that was the decided favorite going in. And of course the college ranks are the same, and that's coaching. You got to deal with it because it's going to happen. Woody Hayes used to say, "Don't say if, say when." When it happens, are you ready? And
all right, we're going to do keys to the game. And these are some big ones. I spoke to the USC coaching staff this week, and this was some of the things they stressed. I also got a chance to watch the Moon Peters Township football game. And so the first keys to the game are very obvious if you're a Panther fan. Andrew Cross, you've got to contain him. You've got to keep him in the pocket, not allow him to improvise and make some plays like that. Number 2, protect the football. They've had defensive touchdowns, Moon has, in both of their big games this season, both Peters Township and Bethel Park. We've got to protect the ball and not lose the turnover battle. If you're Moon, the obvious one right now, stop the run. Nobody's been able to do it this year against the Panthers. We'll see if it happens tonight. And the second one, limit the big plays from number 2. Another thing nobody else has been able to do is slow down Julian Dallum. Julian Dallum's the guy who gets them going. He's the guy who makes the big plays and opens the game up. Can you slow him down? Coach, when you think about those sort of items, what really stands out to you tonight? What would you be focused on right now?
If I were Moon?
Yes.
Well, number 2 is the one you gotta watch. That's Dallum. He is a special kid in my estimation, and nobody has really stopped him. And if he gets a little gap, he's dangerous because he's capable of 5 yards, but just as capable of going 55 yards. I mean, I wish he and Hellman were in there at the same time. That would be my wish, but I don't want to sound like I'm second guessing Mike Junko, because I'm not. But
and they may be saving some stuff. You just never know.
Right.
I mean, it's super interesting. But you're right. When you have all those threats, now if you're Upper St. Clair tonight, you've already talked about sort of the mental psychological battle. Is there anything you'd be really focused on tonight?
Well, you mentioned the quarterback is the one that committed
He's
baseball
for Penn State. Yeah.
All right. Now, what that really tells me, if a guy is a quarterback and he's a major college recruit in another sport, what does that really say? Great athlete. He's a great athlete. So that if I'm Upper St. Clair, I got to focus on that young man.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy they got to slow down. And Gianni DeSora, Agent Zero, my man, was the scout team quarterback this week, who's really shifty, really athletic, and that was sort of how they simulated it. So, we'll see if that works. He is in. Dante Corey. Good night, Julian Dallum. Nico D'Orazio with another touchdown. He's in the end zone. Ethan Hellman. That's Dante. All right, so we're live here, and Jacobo went for the short, low kickoff here. Moon scoops it. Branaugh takes it, who we mentioned in the open, and gets it out to about the 29-yard line. Let's set the scene here. Moon is in their road whites going from left to right on your screen. The Panthers in their home blacks with the red trim, very sharp, going from right to left on your screen. We'll set the defensive lineup for you. It looks like there's a four-man front tonight, which is a little different from what we've been seeing. We've been seeing a lot of threes. Looks like it's Nate Stoll, 58, Mason Geyer, 70, Austin Middleton, 50, and I can't tell who that is. It might be Michael Albert, 87, so interesting. This is Cross. They're going to do the end around here on a little bit of pitch. Oh, nice job. 23 Van Hellman in the backfield. Excellent. Really nice pursuit there, right, Coach?
It was excellent pursuit. When you see four guys flying to the ball, and others on the way, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that was an interesting little set they ran, but Panthers not fooled. Let's set the rest of the defense. We've got Carter Stein on the one linebacker spot, Banbury number 6, Van Helmen, as you just saw, 23, and Beck Shields number 9. So it looks like a 4-4 here with only 3 defensive backs. Very interesting. Here's the fullback again, Kulvash, and he has stood up hard in the hole. Big hit there. I'm not sure. That might have been Middleton 50, but boy, great pursuit right now from the Panthers.
I like the way the Panthers have opened the game. They haven't made an inch, and we've had multiple people at the point of attack.
I can't imagine Moon, if you scouted St. Clair, was going to expect this type of formation. This literally, they've had a 4-man front a couple times this year, but nothing like this. So and the Panthers are staying in that. They're not 3 defensive backs. Very interesting. Yeah, you got Bywalski, it looks like Jones and Dallum. So they fake the handoff. This is Cross rolling out. He's looking up the field. He throws it across the field. Nice job by Charlie Bywalski undercutting it. He was looking for number 1, Prosley. Couldn't find him, and 3 and out. Great start for the Panthers.
Excellent start. You just can't beat 3 and out on the first drive, and now Moon's in. They're going to punt.
This is why I love football, Coach. It's so fascinating to me. You watch film and how you just drastically shift your whole personnel and your whole packages based upon what the opponent's doing. Very credit to Mike and his staff. Very impressive early. A little bit of a bad snap. Get it away. It's a high punt, not super long, but pretty good. Here's DeRazio up the field. It catches it at the 40. Good field position for the Panthers.
Excellent field position for the first time we have the ball. So,
all right, Coach, put on your OC hat here. If you are the Panthers right now, based upon this matchup and everything like that, what are you doing right out of the block here?
I'm going to test the run. There's advantages to passing on the first play, but let's see if we can control that line of scrimmage. And we did defensively. Let's see if we can do it offensively.
All right, so we've got a fairly heavy package in here, but Hellman is in the shotgun, and he's basically in an empty set here. Now DeRazio joins him as a sidecar. Here goes Nico, coming off tackle. Oh, good hole. Gets all the way up to about the 47 for a gain of 7. Really nice stuff on first down.
We've outgained them already, 7-0.
And now so this is what I love about our offense. Really a lot of changing personnel. Well, I'm going to set the line for you right now. That's the thing that never really changes. We've got Reese Perrine, 74, Gillespie, 55, Geyer, 70, Stoll, 58, and Bobby Fleckenstein, 74, Michael Albert, the tight end, 87. Here comes Julian in the Wildcat. Takes the direct snap, and Moon does a nice job there. Kind of corrals him. Gets only about a gain of 1, so pretty stout stuff from the Moon Tigers.
Wrapped up by a den of Tigers.
3rd and 3.
Yeah, 3rd and about 2 maybe even. But that's 8. You know what the coaches always say, stay on schedule. And you like the 3rd and manageable, the 3rd and short as opposed to the 3rd and long.
Yeah, that reminds me of the...
Oh, look at Jules. Scoots through. That's a nice block. That looked like, I think that was Nate Stoll, 58, and creased him there. Nice little gap. And that's the first down of the game for the Panthers.
3rd and 2 is a lot better than 3rd and... how many times did the Steelers have 3rd and 15 plus last week? It drove me crazy.
Well, you keep getting holding penalties. That's kind of what you have happen. But we've got a very veteran-type line. And now Beck Shields is checking in the game, so we got a double tight end set up. But they're doing a lot of personnel changes in here. This is empty set. Van Helmen in, so 3 tight ends. DeRazio in motion. Here's the pitch to Nico. He's got a little space. He cuts it back. Nice little run by Nico. Going to get about 6. So some kind of exotic stuff early on, Coach. Not the ground and pound.
Well, that's good. Moon can't. They can't substitute quick enough to match the formations that Coach Junko's changing.
All right, so now we've got a little more conventional stuff. Carter Stein, the fullback, and Van Helmen, sort of the wingback, are both in, and we have a classic tailback, and it's Johnny Banbury, the sophomore, number 6. This is Bands. He's right up the middle, and he gashes him pretty good. Oh, he's very hard to tackle. He's in a nice block from Randy Ann on the corner, and he gets inside the 30 to the 25. Nice run by John Banbury.
I've been very impressed with Banbury.
Stumbles his way to the 25.
Earlier in the year, I was told that running back might be a problem for us. But this sophomore, Banbury, has looked tough to me, very tough.
I coached John Banbury. You won't find a more competitive human being than John Banbury. Very tough to bring down. So we got 1st and 10 at the 25. Hellman fakes. He rolls. He's being chased. He had to hurry it, unfortunately. There was a lot of pressure on him, and he's a little short of Michael Albert. But, that's what we were worried about with Moon in terms of their ability to pressure.
Yeah. Somebody got loose quick right up the middle. So now we got Dahlem back in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. You just got to keep watching for exactly who the personnel is. But it's Yan and Jones, Bryce Jones at the it's Charlie Bywalski and Bryce Jones out wide at the receiving spot. A little more conventional set. Once again, John Banbury is the tailback, and Van Helman, the brother of our quarterback, is at the wingback. And then this is Dahlem. He's going to run to the outside, cuts it up. He gets about maybe 4, but pretty good pursuit from Moon, and this will be the most sort of difficult third down situation. This is going to be 3rd and 6 or 7, so not quite as ideal as what we've seen so far.
Calling a gain of 4, 3rd down and 6 for the 21.
That's why we play the game here. We're going to find out what we can do. We are in field goal range, or we could go for it on 4th down if necessary.
And we know Mike is not afraid to go for it on 4th down, which is one of the reasons I love him. So 3rd and 6 from the 21 here. This is Dahlem again. Hands to Vance. Vance stumbled a little bit when he came out of his break, but here we go. They're pushing the pile forward. I'll tell you what, they blew the whistle there, but that was really nice stuff from Fleckenstein, 73, to push the pile forward. And as a result, instead of 3rd and 3, we got about 3rd and 1 here, Coach. Or 4th, and about 1. And my guess is we go based upon how good this line is.
I don't see the kicker coming on.
If you had this line, I mean, it makes your decision making a little bit easier. You expect like you can get one every time.
No, you're absolutely right.
Full house backfield here. Dahlem, 2 sidecars, and Banbury behind him. This is John. He cuts through the hole. He gets it easy. He might go further than that. He gets inside the 5 to about the 4. Good hard run, but the line right now is doing exactly what we had hoped, really creating space.
That's my kind of football right there, Gavin. I used to use a full house backfield, and I noticed some of the colleges have used it on the goal line. You know, the old quarterback under center with 3 backs.
Everything comes back into style again sometime, Coach. Here comes Banbury. Nice patience there from Johnny B. Gets down to about the 1. Boy, he does run hard, though, doesn't he, Coach?
He's going to be a force here for the next couple of years.
Yeah, he is a sophomore, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I've been very impressed with him.
You want to talk about a guy who loves the weight room, too?
Oh, really?
He loves the weight room. I know. I'm up there a lot with him, and he's crazy. Yeah, it's in the bloodlines. His brother Mark plays at Brown. His brother Luke plays at Cornell. And that's going to be a good segue, hopefully, if we score here, to my Ivy League segue. It's coming. Here comes Jules around the corner. He's in. Julian Dahlem, 1-yard touchdown. The Panthers strike first. Oh, that's a beautiful drive, Coach.
Very beautiful. And, my concern before the game started was that they have the right mindset to do what they're doing, and all indications so far are they're pumped. They're not going to I don't think they're going to let Moon scare them on their home field again.
All right, Jacobo's in for the extra point, drills it perfectly. Coach, that's why I like to have seniors. Seniors tend to maintain that focus a little more than underclassmen do.
Yeah.
They're a little more urgent. All right, well, let's see if we can get this third microphone to work, because we are really, really lucky right now. If we can't, we'll figure it out with the headset. But we are very, very lucky right now to have one of the great athletes in Upper St. Clair history, and he was inducted into the Panther Hall of Fame last night in an event that I was at. But this is a guy who won a state championship as a football player in 1989, was a terrific 12 or whatever it's called, honoree in baseball, also played basketball, 3 varsity sports at a high level, if you can believe that. Nobody does that. And, after that, he went on to play 2 sports at Harvard. Okay. Mike Quealy, class of 1990, thank you so much for joining me.
It's good to hear. It's a great environment tonight.
Yeah, it's been like this. Our student crowds have been absolutely incredible, and there's some sort of yellow theme tonight about something about the moon. Or it's
Minions. It's Minions.
If you have kids, you love that reference. But I tell you what, the atmosphere and the way these kids support each other nowadays is such a beautiful thing. Here's Jacobo kicking. It's going to be way, way deep. Mike, when you come back to these games, and obviously you live close, I don't know, you have kids, it's difficult, but when you come back here, do you automatically sort of transform back to the memories and things like that? What is sort of your emotions when you come back here?
Well, mentally, I'd love to be out there. Physically, I know that's not possible. But I was walking out on the field earlier with a couple of kids we played with, and the scene is just so amazing. With the come out with the giant panther and everything, we had nothing like that. It was a totally different experience.
I'll tell you what, I'm big on. I'm sort of old school, but I'm big on, the kids, whatever gets them hyped, whatever gets them excited. And I love all the sort of pomp and circumstance. Here's a little counter handoff, and that's the first time they've sort of gapped us right there. A little bit of a counter handoff, and they got about 7 there. That's Brana, who we talked about. And, maybe they're not going to be able to run straight ahead, but they can maybe do a little trickery.
Just work.
So it's going to be about 2nd and 2. We're going to keep Mike here and sort of between stuff. I got a lot of questions for you, man. But let's see. Hope the Panthers can kind of keep their momentum going here. They bang it forward there. That's going to be Brana. That's going to be the first down for the Tigers. So, you were on an undefeated state championship football team, a team that beat a nationally ranked North Hills team, went on and smoked them in the finals, and then went on to win a state championship. You have a team right now that is undefeated, that has lofty goals like that. When you think back about that, what were some of the keys that enabled you guys to accomplish something that so rarely gets accomplished around here or anywhere?
I think there's a lot of factors. I think one was it's really you win it in the off season. You don't win it in the season. It's all the work you put in ahead of time that really prepares you for the championship run.
All right, so 1st and 10 here from the 31. Another little end around here. They're a little more stout there. Nice job holding really strong at the point of attack from 87 Michael Albert, and looks like so that's Carter Stein did a really nice job finishing. Yeah, one thing they stressed this offseason, they were all wearing these shirts with number 4 on the back because they finished 4th in the conference last year at 8-2, and that was a big rallying cry. I love that. And these kids worked really hard in the offseason. All right, 2nd and 9 here for the Panthers. Hopefully they can get a little stout here after giving up the first down of the game for the Tigers. A lot of pre-snap movement here. Here comes, he's rolling out. He's got nothing there, and he just sort of chucks it away. I'll tell you what, they've done a nice job containing Cross in the pocket. So Mike, nowadays one of the things they talk about is balance in terms of playing all those sports. It was maybe a little easier back then, but how was your experience doing that, and do you recommend that for kids these days?
I absolutely recommend it. I think it was a little bit different back then. That's what everyone did. We played football in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the spring. I think there was probably 4 or 5 kids on our team that did that. So I wasn't unique in that sense. Unfortunately, now I think you get these kids that specialize. I don't think that's good for them.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because I think kids are doing less of that now at St. Clair. It's great. They fake here. A little bit ahead. Oh, that's great stuff in there. Trying to see who that was. DeRazio cleaned it up. Oh, that's Nate Stoll again, 58. Big surprise. But he really cleaned up hard there on what was sort of a fake counter there. And that's going to be, Middleton, number 50. So that's great stuff from the Panthers. Good reaction. It's going to be 4th and 8 and another punt for Moon. All right, after we get the change of possession here, we can do a little more chatting here with Mike. It's just amazing to have the tradition we have here. It's another sort of highish punt, but not going to get back to DeRazio. Oh, going to take a Panther bounce. It's going to bounce all the way into Moon territory, so that's a great break. Only about a 14-yard net, and the Panthers will take over. You'd be happy to know that we've done a really good job sharing athletes, and a lot of the guys you're seeing out here right now were stalwarts on our WPIAL basketball championship team last year, and you'll be seeing them again in hopefully in 2 months or whatever after states. So So, Mike, now you're still local. How much do you follow the Upper St. Clair stuff, and how much do you take pride in what you guys were able to accomplish and just sort of the whole Upper St. Clair experience from your youth?
I still follow very closely. Junko was a teammate of mine, so I remember coming back, went to his first game as a coach, and I've been going to games regularly ever since then.
That's awesome. I think that's really cool, and obviously we're just so fond of Mike in terms of what he does and the type of person he is. He's just such a great leader for our kids. Here's Hellman. He hands to Banbury. Boy, they shot a few linebackers in the gap here. I'm not sure if the Panthers are going to need to get them off balance a little bit because there was about 9 in the box there. So the other thing is you've obviously had a very successful post-college, professional career. Do you think there are lessons from particularly football that you've really taken and applied, in life going forward?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it. You put hard work in, you get good results. The teamwork. Don't try to do things by yourself. Have trust in the people you work with. I think the lessons you learn on the athletic fields really carry you a long way in life.
That's exactly why I want my kids to play sports. They're 4-1. We've got time. All right, 2nd and 10, Moon 45. This is Dallum out of the Wildcat, looking for space. Gets a minor gap, but only gets about 3. Moon looks like they're doing a really nice job committing numbers and collapsing the pocket a little bit after a really impressive first drive, and it's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Panthers. Now, your family is still here, other than Jimbo's in Boston. That has to be sort of still a big life thing for you.
It is. That's actually I lived in Washington, D.C. for 20 years. One of the reasons why we came back was to be closer to family. I love my job there, but just being closer to family, having my kids experience their grandparents, but with my parents and my wife's parents, it's completely worth it. It was hard to come back, but once we did it, I wish we would have done it sooner.
I have 4 grandparents within 10 minutes, so I know of which you speak. I love it. All right, 3rd and 7. This is Hellman. He's back to throw. He has time. Boy, the line's doing a great job. He's escaping. Not many receivers on that side of the field, and he's going to get tackled at about the 39 for a gain of, let's say, 3. It's going to be about 4th and 4. I'll be interested to see what the Panthers decide to do here because this is sort of no man's land here. You don't usually see a punt from the opposing team's 40. At the end of the day, this is a fairly long 4th down, but this is what I love about Mike. He's going for it, and they look like they're going tempo here. Maybe they're going to try to draw him off sides. 15 seconds left on the play clock. I don't know if this will be just simply to try to draw the defense off sides or if they're willing to go for it. This could be a Coach Render special. You call a timeout on your first big 3rd or 4th down conversion to talk it over. Nope, we're going to get a snap. Here comes Jules is running to – no, it's Hellman running to his left. He's going to try to get to the lead stick. He won't get there, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Good idea, but Moon really committed a lot of numbers there, and they're going to try to take some momentum, getting their first stop of the game. So with 1:32 left in the first quarter, it will be a turnover on downs. Moon will take over. All right, Mike, let's talk a little football here right now. What impresses you about this year's Panther squad?
I think it's their defense. The last couple teams they played, both Bethel and Peters, really been putting a lot of points on the board, and they really dominated, especially that Peters game. I really, after the first drive Peters had, they really didn't do much. St. Clair really bottled them up and took control of the game.
Nobody had 11 interceptions in a season like Mike Quealy. That's a school record I don't see ever. That's one of those that you may be here your whole life and not see beat. Oh, fumbled snap. They're going to still, and they get a little bit of room. Mike Albert, nice job making sure it's not more than about a gain of 4. But yeah, sometimes I know they talk when the ball's down on the field in the background, you get sort of skittish and lose your lanes. And is there anybody who stands out to you on this team that you've seen like, wow, this guy's impressive. He could have played with me?
They probably all could have played with us. When I watched them come on the field, I was like, wow, these guys are really big.
The line in particular. Yeah. We talked about off-season preparation. Stoll, Gillespie, Geyer, like those dudes are crazy studs in the weight room. I am so impressed with in terms of the work those guys put in. Because I love the weight room, and those dudes are putting up some numbers. 2nd and about 6. This is Cross. He's going to fake. Ooh, looked like a hold on the corner. They got it. Beck Shields did a really nice job of not being fooled by the fake up the middle and the outside, and he's going to draw a hold.
Yeah, I really think the line just seems to be the strength of the team. I mean, the fact that they've been controlling the line both on the offensive and defensive side, that's really what wins games.
Well, you played for Coach, and it's funny because Coach, let's face it, he was and I know it because he's told me this, he was a Woody Hayes guy where if you throw the ball, three things can happen and two of them are bad.
10-yard penalty.
But you ended up playing receiver and some things like that. What was it like playing in that system?
Well, it was tough. We had two running backs that I think averaged almost 10 yards a carry, so we didn't really need to throw the ball a whole lot. In 15 games, I think our quarterback had less than 100 throws. So you had to when you got a chance, you had to make the most of it.
Now, shout out to Dougie Whaley if he's watching. I know he watches on occasion. I see him all the time. Pete Habib was the other, and I grew up idolizing those guys. They were absolute studs. Mike figured, hey, if I'm not getting the ball enough on offense, I'll just intercept it.
Had to find to get the ball in your hands some way.
Absolutely.
That was it.
20 career interceptions, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. So we got 2nd and 16 here now for the Panthers after the hold is marched off, and this is not what Moon wants. They do not want to get behind the sticks here, particularly with their best receiver out due to suspension. Cross is going to go. He fired that and just through the hands of 39 Tavis Lindsay, the fullback. So, Coach talked about staying on schedule. 3rd and 16 is not what you want. So, Mike, if you had to come up with maybe your best football memory as a Panther, what would you say?
That's a tough one. We had 2 Whitfield championships back to back, which is pretty amazing. But I think the obvious answer is being Wilson in the state championship. I think the high for the day was like 4 degrees, and we played at 8 p.m. The field was hard as a rock, and we beat a quarterback and Kerry Collins, who went on to play in the NFL. He was a pretty good quarterback. We held them to 7 points.
Yeah, think about that. A guy who played 15 years in the NFL was their quarterback. I was at that game. It was maybe the coldest I've ever been as a 10-year-old. They're back to throw, and they're getting pressure. Here's what you're worried about, him scrambling and making plays. He does, but Nico DeRazio did a nice job of keeping the play in front of him. So they're going to get a gain of about 11 as they complete it to Clemens, number 40. But, they still got about 5 or 6 yards to go, and I'm assuming this is going to be punt for the Tigers. So pretty good discipline stuff from the Panthers in the secondary.
It's 4th down.
Well, they don't look like they're punting, do they, Coach? Okay, well, the time is ticking down in the quarter. They may not get a playoff. Now, it's going to be the end of the first quarter. So when we return, it'll be 4th and 5 from their own 44, to see if they have. Maybe they'll think the better of it and punt it. Mike, before you go, I have a hello here. I got a text from the Oak family. So the neighborhood back in the day, this was a great neighborhood. I used to go there and play sports all the time with the Mandlers and the Oaks and the Bronsons. He says, and Dave Oak said, I don't look at my phone during my game. Dave Oak, that's all I do during the game. A longtime military veteran in the Air Force, Dave Oak, thank you for checking in, an alum of our program. But he said Jimbo is a great American, and Pinky, the mom, was the bus driver and a tremendous human being. So a big shout to the entire Quealy family.
Yeah, well, she loved doing that. She drove bus, I think, for 20-some years and really enjoyed it. So it's good to hear from them.
Yeah, it's just my love of Upper St. Clair is stuff like this. It's just an unbelievable blessing to have the generations come back, people I idolized growing up, people who are some of the greats and are still invested and paying attention to our program. Look who's next to me tonight, Coach Render. It's beautiful. I love it so much. And so, Mike, before you go, I know you want to get back to your family and doing all that stuff, although I do hope you'll join me for a broadcast in the future. I know your wife said she was going to try to talk you into it. We talked about this last night. If you had to give maybe a couple things for what you think this team needs, if anything, to get to that next level and win a state championship, what would you say?
Stay healthy. That was what we had. We had no major injuries. I know Pete Habib got hurt late in the year. I'll finish up after the play.
Such a good call, by the way. And that's when Dougie took over and had 2 300-yard games in a row. Oh, quick kick, Coach, you love it. Oh, no, it's 4th down, a fake punt. Oh, great play from DeRazio. He catches it. He's got a lot of room here. He's got a convoy. He cuts it up. He's at the 40. 35. What a heady play from the junior safety. He sprinted back on a fake and where they punted, caught it on a bounce, and took advantage of all that space. And as such, they gained no yardage whatsoever. Continue, Mike, in what you were saying.
I think you sort of finished it for me. Pete got hurt. He was our leading rusher. He went down for 2 games. Doug Whaley came back and back-to-back 300-yard rushing games. And in one of those games, he had a 95-yard kickoff return, too. So he had over almost 400 yards with the ball in his hands. Pretty amazing.
It's talking about all these legends. It's just, I love it. And we haven't had, state championships, people act like, oh, you're going to win a state championship. It's almost impossible. So, I mean, you wonder why I wax glorious about this, because it's an amazing accomplishment. Here's Bands. He gaps him. Good hole there. Boy, great stuff from the left side of the line there to push him in. If you saw that hole, I think it was Gillespie and Fleckenstein. Just fantastic stuff for a gain of 5. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me.
I am honored to have you up here. Congratulations on getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And anytime you want to come for a broadcast, you have an open invitation to be my color man.
I'll come up and join you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I should also give a shout out to the other two Athletic Hall of Famers who got inducted last night. Landy Mertz, one of the great soccer players that ever played here. Josh Helmertz, who's going to be joining us in the second half, class of 2005. What a Hall of Fame we have. Here's Dahlem. He cuts up. So Moon's doing a nice job here, Coach. I feel like they've committed a few more numbers to the box. Is that what you're seeing too?
Yes, I am. I got a comment about Mike Quilly here before. I've been a very lucky person, Gavin. I get a lot of credit for things that happen here, but the credit goes to the players. And I was so blessed to have, several Hall of Famers play for me. And he mentioned, Whaley and Peter Bibb.
Oh, nice run from Jules. He spun off him. I think he got to the lead stick just with that shot. That's just a great run. All right, continue, Coach.
Well, I'm just saying, the best part about this, Mike mentioned the state championship and so forth, but it was the journey to get there. And to be with the guys that I had, it was a pleasure to coach. That's why we're still celebrating it all these years later.
It's special stuff, and really you should be. I mean, I've been coaching now for 23 years, and this is why I do it. The alums, and we tell stories about all these championships, but it's the relationships, and it's real special stuff. All right, first and 10 from the 25. It's Dahlem again. Oh, boy. He hits the hole so aggressively for a little guy, and you look up, and it's 6-7 yards like that.
That you're so very right. He might be small, but he's tough, and he hits that hole, and then he squirts to the open seam.
Well, heart over height, like his brother likes to say. I'm sure Ethan's listening to and watching the broadcast. And what an outstanding athletic family. So, second and 4 here. This is Dahlem again. He pitches around to Durazio. This play has been very successful, and it's going to be successful again, although it looks like they've got a hold. I didn't see who or where, but judging by who threw it and where it was thrown, it's almost certainly a hold.
Speaking of family watching the game, Dahlem's brother and so forth, I've got 2 grandkids in New York City, George and June, and they're informed me that they're watching this telecast. So a little shout out to them. And I have my other grandson, Roman, from Cleveland. He's here tonight, too.
Well, is JT here for the reunion?
He's here, yes.
1994 class reunion this weekend.
I think he's downstairs someplace with some of those guys.
All right. Oh, the QB draw, and they got him. They caught him. Here comes Hellman. He's at the 20, the 15, spins off him. I think that's going to be another first down. Great call from Coach Junko or Coach Morton, who's ever dialed that one up. But they caught him sort of slanting in there and got a huge gain there. Watch this, Coach. That's just beautiful execution.
Well, I used to love the quarterback draw, and Coach Tim Robbins drew up the blocking schemes back when I was there, and he's still coaching that line, so he may have had something to do with that draw play.
Dahlem gives him a lot of credit for that type of thing, and anybody who knows Tim Robbins knows he's just great at what he does. A little bit of a low snap. So just what you asked for there, Coach. Hellman hands to Dahlem, both out there. The play was disrupted by a little bit of a bad timing on the snap, but it just makes you a little bit more dangerous, doesn't it, to have both those options out there?
Well, especially we all know, and I'm sure Moon knows it, that Hellman's got a live arm if they want to use it. And to have both of them in the backfield at the same time is a great offensive strategy.
By the way, any of you guys who are around the class of 94, assuming the Panthers get a W tonight, the class of 94 is doing their Friday night at Pizzazz, so Yeah, I may show up and hang out, see some of my 94s. I was a sophomore when they were seniors. All right, they fake. Hellman's rolling to his left. Oh, that's a beautiful throw. He had to get it in a tight window, and Beck Shields brings it down. As a result, that's going to be about a gain of 7. Boy, that's a beautiful throw, Coach.
Well, I told you, he's got a live arm, and he's always a threat. If you're the defensive people on the Moon side, you've got to be aware that he can throw the ball.
And such a competitive kid. The fact that his back has been really banged up and he's not been able to play hoops is... I almost cry thinking about it because he's such a good hooper.
Is he going to play this year?
Just probably not healthy. It's a shame because he's a great kid. Man, was he good as a freshman. All right, here's the handoff. It's Bands on 3rd and 3. He's going to walk in. The line is just doing what that line does. I don't even think anybody touched him before the goal line. Such impressive stuff. Banbury from 9 yards out. Panthers with a 13-0 lead.
I must tell you, I enjoy watching this young man run the ball.
Wow, look at Stoll, Gillespie, and Perrine. My God.
He also ran over the last man before the end zone.
Oh, he wants contact on the play. He's not looking to... Here comes Jacobo to bring the extra point in. One of my favorite John Banbury stories is, Coach, during the preseason, we do it so that you're not diving for loose balls or anything like that, because you can get injured that way. Like, you dive into somebody's ankle, somebody gets hurt. Oh, we're going to take a commercial break. All right, 14-0 Panthers with 6:50 to go in the second quarter.
Upper St. Clair ranks as one of Pennsylvania's top school districts. In addition to rigorous academic offerings, students have endless opportunities to explore and excel in music, the arts, robotics, world language, and athletics. All of the district's 6 schools have been recognized as National Blue Ribbon schools with 13 total awards. Unity, success, and character are the primary pillars of the Upper St. Clair school community.
Anyway, to complete that story, Banbury was so mad that he wasn't allowed to dive for loose balls during preseason because he doesn't know how to play any other way, that once we relaxed that rule, he just went crazy in practice. I mean, he's just a really intense kid.
I might have to come to practice.
Oh, you should. I mean, he's insane in practice. All right, 6:50 to go here. 14-0 Panthers. Jacobo. Oh, onside kick. They saw something on film. I don't think he quite got to it because one player from Moon 54, Double Jacoby, I think got it. But, boy, you could see they saw something on film, and they almost got that. Watch this.
Recovered by Moon.
There was one guy capable of being there, and he got it. Love the aggression from Coach Junko, though.
They're not going to be conservative, are they? They're going after this outright conference championship.
Man after my own heart. Love him so much. We got to thank our sponsor before too long here. Coker Law sponsored the game and everything tonight. That's, I believe, Dan Iraki's firm, and I want to thank Dan for his support of the program. Another 2001 class, longtime supporter of the program. Thank you so much to him and to Coker Law. All right, cross is rolling out. He gets forced in the pocket. He's going to throw. Boy, he had a man. I'll tell you what, it looked like we were a little fooled by some of the action there, but pressure makes it difficult, and Carter Stein was in his face. Hey, Coach, does it make you feel old at all to have guys like Carter Stein, who you coached, his dad and both of his uncles? Because it does for me.
Well, I can't deny anything because I am old.
Just blows my mind. I feel like it was yesterday that Timmy and John and Josh were playing football.
I'll tell you another one here. Go ahead on this play.
All right. Ooh, did we jump there? Nope. Looks like we got back. But, they run to the outside. They break one. Boy, that's the first time we've sort of busted a tackle we didn't get when Anthony Razzo knocked him out of bounds, but not before about a 12-yard gain there for the Tigers.
I coached at West Virginia as a graduate assistant. And Wayne Porter.
Oh, yeah, my dentist.
Well, anyhow, then I had his son, and then I had his grandson.
That's very true. Steve Porter, we had Brandon Coe. It's just incredible stuff. The late Wayne Porter, one of the great athletes from this area. All right, 1st and 10 at the Panther 36. The first time Moon has been in Panther territory, and boy, that was stout right there. Nothing at all. Big. Who is that? 87 again, Mike Albert. Been very, very tough so far. There's a reason Princeton wants him, and it's because he is good at what he does.
He's
very good at what he does.
Great kid, too. Great kid from a great family. All right, so 2nd and 8 here. Probably 4-down territory now, particularly given it's a 14-0 game, and given that Moon has finally advanced and shown some progress here on the drive. But, you know, it's been a lot of misdirection and stuff like that. They've not been able to go at the Panthers. That's a good sign. This is an interesting backfield, or an interesting set. 3 guys left. Oh, he's back. He can pass. He's going to throw. DeRazio's there, and he picks it off. Ill-advised pass. The Panthers were all over that, saw it coming, didn't really sell it well, and Braden Stewart throws a pick there. And, boy, that's a tough momentum shift there for Moon.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, they were moving the ball. Not great chunks, but they were moving the ball. And to try that trick play, and it certainly didn't fool the Upper St. Clair secondary. We not only had one guy back there with the intended receiver, we had 2. So.
Nico DeRazio is such a smart player. I'm hearing Coach also coached at East Liverpool as an assistant. Larry Bruno's nephew, Lauren Anderson, class of 97, one of our big fans, always gives Coach Render love because all he does with the Bruno Foundation, and he wants to say hello. So, but we got to bring that up. Coach has done a lot of different things, not just Uniontown and St. Clair.
I started my career essentially in East Liverpool, Ohio, and a lot of fond memories. I still have friends in East Liverpool.
Dahlem on the keeper.
So there's been some exchange issues tonight so far, Coach. Which, as it gets colder, you have that. But got to tighten it up a little bit. I'm sure Coach Junk won't be happy because one thing they've done really well this year is the ball handling stuff. They do a lot of kind of exotic type stuff, and it worries you a little bit. But they've been really on point, which that speaks to coaching to me.
Well, I don't agree with you when you're talking about the weather, because this weather is about as ideal as you can get.
This is perfect football weather.
There was another low snap, by the way.
And Mason's usually really good, so this is going to be interesting because this is the first 3rd and legitimately long they've had, and it's in the shadow of their own end zone. Would you have a tendency to be a little bit on the conservative side here, given game and situation? 4:18 left in the second quarter, shadow of your own end zone, up two scores.
One of the strategies I used to do, and I learned it from Woody Hayes actually, is I'd punt on 3rd down. I'd run the punt team out there, and before the defense can set their punt block, and 3rd down.
Oh no, they're going to throw, and frankly, he had Charlie on a bit of on a tight post, but if you make a bad throw there, it's going the other way in the end zone. So probably erred on the side of safety there.
Punting is also a way to advance the ball. And I might have punted the ball there on 3rd down. And again, I'm not trying to second guess anybody. I'm just reliving some things that I used to do. Not a lot of it, but we've punted on 3rd down.
Well, I was with one of your favorites this weekend, Mac McCardle, and we talked about a lot of that stuff. Oh, and the punt is blocked. Or maybe just altered to the point where it's going to be a really short punt from Jacobo. And wow, that's really changing the field positions. Moon is going to get the ball at the Panther 20. Wow.
Well, they were able to get they had committed at least 10 guys to rushing the punter.
So what do we talk about? Special teams being a 3rd of the game, and St. Clair special teams has been incredible this season.
Right.
That's really maybe the first mistake I've seen, and so boy, that field position changed a lot of things here. So the Panther defense is going to have to get tough and stout here, Coach.
Well, we're going to find out. They've been pretty tough.
They have been all season. Mike Wheely was up there really singing their praises, and he's right. I mean, they've been really good against some good offenses. Do we have a referee timeout? All right, so and the Panthers, if they get a stop here, they get the ball to start the third quarter. So, I mean, this is big stuff from a momentum standpoint.
You're absolutely correct.
All right, 1st and 10 from the Panther 20. Crosses back. This is going to be a straight handoff, and they got a little room up the middle. Banbury does a nice job from the middle linebacker spot closing it down, but they're going to get a good gain of about 5 there. So Moon on track there on 1st down. Pretty good gain.
Very good game under the set of circumstances and the field position.
Yeah, I mean, boy, isn't it crazy how momentum can shift in this game, Coach? I mean, looked like you were cruising there, and then all of a sudden you went backwards a little bit, and one special teams play, and it looks like you're on your heels a bit.
Well, this is a good test. Let's take it to our advantage, make it a learning.
All right, Cross has it. It's going to be the handoff to Brana up the middle. He's going to run hard. He's going to get about, let's say, 3 or they're going to give him 4. So 3rd and 1. I think this is the best job I've seen of the Moon line, getting some little creases there and getting to the second level.
Driven backwards by John
You're absolutely right.
and Nico Tarantio.
You're pretty perceptive for a basketball coach.
Thanks, Coach. You watch enough football over the time you pick stuff up.
I know.
I'll say this, though. They've played some guys both ways tonight a little more than they usually do. Geyer is playing a lot on defense because they're doing 4 down. Stoll always does, and Albert does mostly. You wonder if there's a little fatigue. Middleton's the only guy on the front 4 that doesn't play both ways. So, just something to watch. All right, 3rd and 1 here from the 11, and we got a timeout, I think, from Moon. So they're going to talk about this a little bit. Coach, you've obviously been a guy who's played guys both ways a lot. How much credence do you get into that type of thing, trying to keep guys fresh where you can, or is it I want my best guys out there as much as possible?
Well, I always wanted my best guys out there. And the schedule that we had in those days when North Hills was good, Mount Lebanon was good, North Allegheny, on and on. We couldn't afford to have a couple of great players standing beside me. They had to be in the game, and that's just how we trained. The team that Mike Willie was on in 1989. First of all, he was absolutely right. We didn't have much in the injury bug, and we played 15 games. But the Phil Dunns and the Doug Whaleys and the Mike Quillies, Kevin Ory, they all played. They were never off the field.
Mike McKenzie thought we'd get some of those references tonight. So, Mike, congratulations. We got a Phil Dunn reference as you expected, and I love it. All right, here's the handoff on 3rd and 1. They're going to go up the gut. They're going to get it. He gets forward. Brana does probably only gets about 2 or 3, but it's going to be 1st and goal from the 8 here. So pretty impressive stuff here from Moon. They've shown a lot of resilience here. They could have sort of gone away and hid. They did not do that.
They didn't let that interception bother them either.
No, very impressive stuff. But this is a really well-coached team. Ryan Lynn is excellent. A lot of upperclassmen. It's what you'd expect. Nobody's blown them out. They're going to fake it. Looks like they're looking for the throwback. They throw it. Oh, that's a great catch. That's going to be a touchdown. It wasn't even open. Carter Stein had great coverage, but they pull it down there. Really impressive stuff. He fit it into a tight window, and that's Clemens, who we talked about, and that's going to be a touchdown, and going to be a 1-score game with an extra point here, Coach.
It was a pretty good throw and a great catch. I think that's a one-handed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even really that open, and we had great pressure. It just goes to show you that, sometimes outstanding plays, you can do a lot right and still get beat. So extra point is up, and it is good. So we got about 1:44 left, and it's 14-7 now. Now, Coach, put your coaching hat back on here because this is an important one. It depends on field position, obviously, but, giving the weapon St. Clair has and given now that it is a 1-score game, does that change your philosophy? Are you a little more aggressive now with the ball? Obviously, 1:44 and 3 timeouts you got time to do some things.
You have time, but my opinion is the field position is going to be huge. Where are we going to get the ball after this kickoff? Will they kick it in the end zone, or will we? If it's shorter, will we try to return it? I wouldn't go pass happy unless we have great field position.
And we haven't seen a Moon kickoff yet, so I have no idea in terms of what type of leg he may have. I will say this: I'm glad they don't have Jacobo Echeverria as their kicker, because
I sat with his parents last week, and having been a kicker, it was interesting. They get nervous too.
have to be nervous. That's a really good kick. Wow. He's going to be all the way back to in the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback. Very impressive. So, yeah, maybe it does change the philosophy. Instead of having to go, 60 yards, you got to go 80. So, it'll be interesting to see if Coach takes your advice or what they do.
What's the timeout situation?
I think we got 3.
We got 3. So my guess is they're going to run the ball on first down. I don't think they're going to get pass happy before the half.
Yeah, on the flip side here, Moon has 2 timeouts left. So if you're thinking about, Moon can use their timeouts, get 3 and out, and get the ball back, certainly a possibility. So looks like a pretty conventional big set here for the Panthers, and it's Banbury. Boy, the linebacker 23 shot the gap, and Miles Turner did a great job of pulling him down by 1 leg for only about a gain of 2. Really impressive.
You got good eyes, Gavin. You're seeing things on both sides of the ball, which I'm impressed.
Well, I like to think like a coach. I don't know football like I do basketball, but it interests me so much that I like to see what both sides are doing to try to learn the sport.
Well, you're very good at it.
Thank you very much. 2nd and 8 as we tick down to about 1:11 here. It is Banbury again. And Moon is stout here again. He gets to about the 25, but
I don't think Coach Junko's going to use those timeouts and try to get into a dangerous situation.
But I think you're exactly right. I think he may have had the field position thing gone differently. I think you called that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I did, but they don't seem to be in a hurry, and they're not using those timeouts.
Well, no, I'm not sure they want to be in a punt situation at this point after the last one. I mean, you don't want a block punt. It'd be about the worst thing that could happen right now.
That's a great point.
All right, so Moon sending numbers here. They are going to throw. It's Bywalski on the slant. A little bit high, the pass was, and with 21 seconds left, they are going to have to punt the ball away. It didn't matter in terms of throw or run there. Moon would have used the timeout, I'm sure. Not a bad throw, but it would have been a pretty tough catch from Charlie.
You're exactly right again.
All right, so let's hope we can get the exchange issues down and they didn't spot something on film with our punt that they can exploit here again. That obviously worries you a bit. Because he came right up the gut there, almost totally free. All right, Gardner with another good snap. Jacobo's got plenty of time here, boots it away. It's a nice punt. Fair catch at the 40 with 16 seconds left. So my guess is they're not going to get super aggressive here. But I'm going to say a couple of lows here while we got 16 seconds left. Timmy Watinsky gave me a shout. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. I know you're busy with the Wash-Eye Prexies, but appreciate you checking in. And Coach Malarkey said, what a great combo like Bob Prince and Jim Woods. And I don't know how many of our audience is going to even understand that reference. I do because I'm a nerd and love Pirate baseball from the 70s. But
who was Jim Woods?
Bob Prince and Jim Woods.
I don't remember Jim Woods.
If you watch any of the old 60s and 70s Pirate videos like I watch, those were the play-by-play in color.
What was the other guy that was the longtime color man?
Milo Hamilton? He was later.
No.
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Maybe I do. All right, well, so we are at halftime right now with the Panthers with a 14-7 lead. Coach, before we kick it to a break here, any thoughts summarizing the first half? What do you think?
Well, it was a good fundamental game. The difference between, everybody was using the pass and the shotgun and pass. These two teams aren't doing that. And my point is, we had a rather quick first half.
Yeah, we did. It flew by.
This game started at 7 o'clock and we're done at 10 to 8. So, different strokes, as they say. But I thought, this is my kind of football, I guess, to be honest. running and tackling, and I'm still a believer that blocking and tackling and special teams are what win football games. We got off the beaten path there for a while. When I say we, I don't mean Upper St. Clair. I mean everybody. It was pass, spread formations. So I kind of like this. This is more fundamental blocking and tackling, tough football.
And the Panthers do it very well, as you can tell by an 8-0 Panther team. We're going to go to a break. We will be back to you after halftime. Panthers 14, Moon 7.
Please welcome for your halftime entertainment, the Band of Excellence, the Moon Area High School Marching Band. This year's halftime show is sponsored by Clearview Federal Credit Union. Stop into one of our financial centers or visit clearviewfce.org to experience clearly different banking. The band is led onto the field by field conductors Annetta Brown, Gia McConaughey, and Amelia Weiss. Our first selection this evening is the 1978 hit from the band Electric Light Orchestra and a Billboard 100 Best Rock Songs of the 21st Century. This is Mr. Blue Sky. Our next selection this evening is from the hip-hop duo of Outkast. Check out this 2003 hit, Hey Ya. Our last selection this evening was at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 charts in 2009, and an iconic song from the singer Miley Cyrus. This is Party in the USA. The band is under the direction of Nick Barfin with assistant Abby Finkelstein and associate director Alan Fear. Auxiliary instructors are Sidney Deal and Jen Minemeyer. Thank you for your attention and support, and as always, go Tigers! Let's give it up once more for the Moon Area Marching Band. They're on their way to Delaware for the Bands of America competition. Break a leg. And now, from the fine and performing arts of the Upper St. Clair Township Schools, we present the pride of Upper St. Clair, the Upper St. Clair High School Panther Marching Band. The band is led on the field by drum majors Carly Santel and Liam Mulhern. The band's 2024 halftime show is entitled Hit Play and opens with the 1988 hit by Bobby Brown, My Prerogative. Drum majors, is your band ready? Next is a mashup of two tunes. Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground, performed in 1989 by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the 2022 hit by Harry Styles, Music for a Sushi Restaurant. We close our show with one of Lady Gaga's 2013 hits. Applause! Let's give it up for the 24-25 edition of the Pride of Upper St. Clair. The band is under the leadership of Band Director Mr. Nick Deutsch, Assistant Director and Percussion Coordinator Mr. Jesse Rhodes, Assistant Percussion Coordinator and Front Ensemble Instructor Mr. Jacob Rice, Assistant Percussion Instructors Ms. Makai Stewart and Mr. Tommy Starr, Assistant Band Instructor Ms. Jordan Chappell, Pantherette Guard Coordinator Mrs. Tammy Lentz, Assistant Pantherette Guard Coordinator Ms. Kate Slagle.
Senior Advisor to the band, Mr. Sam Hazo.
He is in. Dante Corey. Good night, Julian Dallum. Nico D'Orazio with another touchdown. He's in the end zone. Ethan Hellman. That's Dante Corey. That's going to be a Panther touchdown. Oh, this is unbelievable. The floodgates have gone wide open for the Panthers.
That was an incredible one.
There he goes. Wow. He's at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Nobody's catching him.
Upper St. Clair ranks as one of Pennsylvania's top school districts. In addition to rigorous academic offerings, students have endless opportunities to explore and excel in music, the arts, robotics, world language, and athletics. All of the district's 6 schools have been recognized as National Blue Ribbon schools with 13 total awards. Unity, success, and character are the primary pillars of the Upper St. Clair school community.
All right, we're back again for the second half to set the scene here. We have a 14-7 football game. The Panthers struck first. Really good first drive after getting a 3-and-out stop. Went down the field and scored on a Julian Dallum 2-yard touchdown run. Then the Panthers got another stop, got the football back, went down the field again. I think the second or third possession of the football game. Johnny Banbury scored from, I think, 9 yards out. 14-0 Panthers. They were looking really good at that point, but then after getting a turnover on a Nico D'Orazio interception deep in their own territory, they had to punt from the shadow of their own end zone, had a protection issue, and Moon got the ball deep in Panther territory. A really, really nice play by the quarterback, Andrew Cross. Athletic play, rolling to his left, hit Nick Clemens for a 9-yard touchdown to make the score 14-7. That's where we stand right now. Panthers will get the ball to start the second. All right, we're gonna look at the sort of how the teams got here right now. The Panthers right now are, like we've talked about, sitting at 8-0 overall, 3-0 in the conference. And what's really impressive here to me is the murderer's row that they've faced in a row with Peters Township, South Fayette, and Bethel Park. It just, you don't usually see playing 3 undefeated teams in a row that also happen to be your rivals in the middle of the season. Very, very difficult stuff for the Panthers. So why Coach Render was worried about kind of a trap game today is because Moon, while still a very good football team who's played all those other teams close, does not have the type of record and is not a big rival. So I think that was sort of, the genesis for why, you could have seen this as a trap game. So without further ado, I want to introduce to my color man here for the second half. Coach may pop in and join us again from time to time, but we already had one Hall of Fame inductee in Mike Wheely in the first half, and the man to my right needs no introduction to anybody who's been following Panther football for the last few decades. A 3-year starting quarterback, also was a standout at Yale, works now for the NFL, particularly with their Next Generation Stats. He's joined me before here. He also gets referenced a lot on the broadcast because Next Generation Stats is something that fascinates me. Josh Elmerich, thank you so much for joining me, man. Really good to have you here. And congratulations. I have to imagine that being inducted in the Hall of Fame is quite an honor for anybody.
We will draw another ticket.
My family, and to be back and see an 8-0 Upper St. Clair team is really
And
special.
also, end of the first quarter.
So, okay,
Pine Ridgewood
you were on some
7,
very, very good Upper St. Clair teams.
0.
When you flash back and you look sort of what you went through, you experienced, and what this team does, do you think they have the goods?
You know, thanks to you guys and streaming all the games, been able to see them. And, I mean, their defense is as good as any I've seen from St. Clair. So is their run game. The hope is they don't get behind or need to throw the ball, because I think they haven't had as much success through the air as some of their teams in recent memory. But they have great defense and a great run game, and that's a good recipe. So if they can keep the lead or keep it close, I think they have a great shot in any game against anybody they play.
All right, so hey, we're going to start it off here like we talked about. The Panthers are getting the football. This kicker was very impressive in his first attempt. This one's going to be slightly shorter. Looks like it's going to be taken by Gianni DeSora. He's number 0. He cuts to the outside. He gets to about the 28 or so. Pretty nice return. And, very, very impressive stuff from G. Turned it upfield, did a nice job. Panthers got pretty good field position. All right, Josh, you watched the first half. Obviously, you were getting sort of honored down there. But what did you think, and what are your sort of takeaways in terms of what you would expect to see or think the Panthers might want to think about in terms of their game plan second half?
Well, it's like we were talking about with a strong run game. You really can't afford to have any negative plays. You got to stay. It's like we were saying. When you have a good run game and a good defense, you can't afford to have any negative plays. So you can't have any penalties. You can't get behind the sticks. You got to stay on schedule as they stay. 2-3 yards every play. Keep moving the ball, and then maybe you pop off a big 20, 30-yard gainer. But got to stay ahead of the sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. This game is, oh boy, that's a nice little play. Gets to Dallum out in space. Good block on the corner from Van Helmen, number 23. And Dallum makes one man miss, and that's why number 2 is so dangerous. He turned a relative innocuous screen pass into a 20-yard game.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you keep staying ahead of the sticks and you keep moving the ball. You just need to break 1 or 2 of those, and that's enough.
And that I kind of like that adjustment from Coach Junko. He was having a hard time getting him loose in between the tackles, get him out in space. All right, so the Panthers get a good first down there, getting a little breathing room in terms of field position with the ball on the 40. Here comes Dallum again. They're really doing a nice job. What I was told by the coaching staff was this Moon team was really good at tackling, and I think this is the best tackling team I've seen so far, I think.
I mean, they've been pretty solid on both sides of the ball. The touchdown they had, the one-handed catch, very impressive play. Their defense has kept us relatively in check. You can tell why they played those good teams close. They're a solid team, but hopefully St. Clair can just continue to move the ball consistently and stay ahead on the scoreboard.
They did a really good job keeping Peters down, who has a great offense. So yeah, that's not surprising here. All right, we got second and about 8. Here's Dallum. Oh, they gassed him that time, and his jump cuts and little bits of space.
Yeah,
incredible.
He's so quick. He's a pretty good hooper too, right? I know all these guys play for you, but his brother I know was a incredible athlete here, and I've only seen him, this is the first time in person, but he looks to be every bit as good of an athlete.
He is, I mean, there are competitive kids.
Yeah.
And then there's the next level competitive kids, and he's one of those.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys that even when he was in a scoring slump last year for part of the season, you couldn't take him off the floor because he's such a net positive. That's just the guy he is.
I'm sure it's helpful to have the older brothers. Obviously, I was fortunate to play with a few kids that had older brothers. Sean Lee being our running back and linebacker, always getting beat up by his older brother Connor, I think helped turn him into the athlete that he was. And I was always a little jealous that I didn't have an older brother to help mold me and form me. I had to sort of form those own relationships. But I know that family, unbelievable athletes, and it's just one of many. You see, like all of the, I don't know, does Banbury have an older brother too? Like
3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So I know Pentillis. Like there's been so many of these, multiple brothers coming through. It's amazing.
Yeah, I had an older brother. He beat me up all the time. It was terrible. Oh, there's that little end around again on the kind of reverse, and it's Durazio again. He's going to get a good gain, get about 3 or 4. So going to be in probably 3rd and 2. I got to, and I know you did too. I got to run into Bob and Mary Kay Petrini and Craig Lee down there, the parents of both the Lee brothers and Bobby Petrini. Just love seeing all them. And I want to give Sean Lee a congratulations there on the birth of his first.
Thea,
the birth of his daughter. Very cool. I know Sean is going to be a great daddy, and I cannot wait to bust him a little bit about that soon.
Yeah, Sounds like he already is. I said, how you sleeping? He said, as good as can be, I guess. So
Here's Bands. Oh, that's great pursuit, and frankly, they got him behind the sticks. Really good stuff there from Moon. So, the Panthers backtracked a little bit there, and so they went from 2nd and 2 to 3rd and probably 3 or 4 here. So Moon's doing a really nice job. I think they're committing a lot of numbers to the box, Josh.
But this is what I was talking about. I mean, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, you keep it manageable. If you get 2-3 yards here, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, that St. Clair can do that and afford to have that. What you can't have is 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10.
Yes, absolutely the case. Here's Bands again, and look at him bang up, and look at this offensive line surge. It's you take for granted on 3rd and 3 on this team that you can bang it forward between the tackles and get 4 or 5. That's incredible.
Without a doubt, that's what Coach used to always say. 3 yards every down wins the game. And you forget that, but 3 yards is a good play. You do that every time, you win the game.
There's some other Panther greats up here tonight that I got to give a shout out. Timmy McGarvey's up here, class of 92. Gooch, good to have you up here, brother. Mike Mascaro is here as well, one of our school board members. Love seeing all these Panther greats here. We have like an all-star team up here right now.
And one of the greatest, you can't forget Pam Render, Coach's wife. Without her, I think Coach wouldn't have made it nearly as long.
We would all be miserable, too.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, 1st and 10 on the 38. Here's Jules. He looks like he might throw.
Yep.
He does. He completes it to Van Helman. I feel like people forget this a lot because he's so good and so dangerous. This is a quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not a slash guy. He is a quarterback.
Which, to me, actually, I was talking about this with Coach yesterday. I'd have them both on the field all the time. I mean, you just don't know what he's going to do because, to your point, he is a quarterback. And that optionality, having 2 guys that can run and throw on the field, I would keep both of them on there.
And I think we were wondering how much they're saving.
Yeah.
Looks like Banbury's limping a little bit off the field. I can promise you, from dealing with his injuries last year in basketball, there is a 0% chance he will come out. 0. All right, 2nd and 4 from the Moon 32. This is Hellman. And there it is. He hands to Dallum. So that you got your wish there. Look at the leg strength. Not a big guy, but he carried the pile all the way to that lead stick.
That's what makes them so strong. They just fall forward and get those 3-4 yards every time. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. That is what you want to see, especially with this type of team. That's a clock management, grinded out type of offense.
Yeah, we were laughing because the first half was just stupidly quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 45 minutes and we were in halftime. I didn't even have a chance to talk, which I'm sure everybody's applauding about. But but this is the type of football that wins as the weather gets bad.
Yeah. You're going to be in every game. You just worry you don't get behind because if you have to throw the ball, they don't have a lot of experience doing that.
Oh, here's Bands, and he's gashed him. Look at him push the pile. So that right side of that line right there, when you have, particularly with Carter Stein there, the fullback leading the way, but you got, Fleckenstein and Stoll and Mike Albert, and they are just so strong.
Yeah, really impressive up front. I mean, that's what allows – they have great athletes back there, but if you don't have an offensive line that gives them some space and they're getting hit in the backfield, they just can't get going. But these guys all year really get to the line of scrimmage untouched, which allows them to be good athletes, make the jump cuts you're talking about, and get 3-4 yards every time.
Yeah, it reminds me so much, we've said it, of some of these really great Panther teams of the past. All right, here's Jules again. He's running to his left. They strung it out pretty well there, did Moon, only for about a 2 or 3 yard gain. But, they're still staying on schedule here, no losses.
Yeah, and they keep me honest, but we have a really strong kicker. I know he put the ball through the end zone on the kickoff so far tonight, but he's been the kicker for a couple years. Really strong. I would assume we're in field goal range with his leg strength.
Oh, yeah, he's already hit several 40-plus yard kicks. Yeah, I mean, Bennett Henderson, our kicker last year. I got to give a shout-out to Bennett. I don't know if he's watching. He had a 53-yarder for Fordham last Saturday. So great stuff from Bennett. We've had unbelievable kickers the last couple of years. But Bennett even told me for years how good Jacobo was.
Oh, really?
And, I mean, it's been what a embarrassment of riches.
It's such a weapon in high school football to have somebody who can consistently put it to the uprights.
That's the second time we've run this play, and the second time it has worked beautifully.
Design
QB draw.
Yep, design draw. I mean, when you have those great athletes, if you're the defense, I don't know how you fall for it because we haven't thrown the ball much, but when you have those great athletes, you just give them different opportunities to get space. And there he wasn't touched till 2-3 yards down the field.
Yeah, almost got to the lead stick. Ethan Hellman, yeah, maybe he's not Julian Dowell, but he is a legitimately great athlete too. So it's beautiful to have all these guys. All right, so 3rd and probably about a half yard here. It's Bands. Oh my, look at that line surge.
Untouched.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if we can get a replay of that, but that is some absolutely clinical line play.
Untouched. I mean, he's a great athlete, hit the hole, but it's easy when you get that kind of hole downfield, you know.
I mean, Geyer and Stoll particularly, I believe. Let's see if
58 with that kick out block
and Fleck,
right there.
73.
Exactly.
Oh my, just outstanding
he
stuff.
pulled over and blew that hole wide open.
Shout out to JRM Productions. We're getting just great replays tonight. Our production companies, on
this is
on
first
point.
rate. This is better than a lot of college productions that I've seen.
I'm thankful for them. Jacobo hits the extra point, 21-7 Panthers. Got to say a couple of lows here. My main man Brett Minert giving me a shout out. My captain of the WPIAL Championship 2024 basketball. Panthers also played receiver and safety here last year. Sorry I missed you last week. I was in Hilton Head, buddy, but I'll see you over Thanksgiving, my main man. Josh, I got to ask. You played on teams that, you made the stadium multiple times, and you played in so many big playoff games and stuff. Other than, obviously, to be able to control the clock with the run game, what do you think are the components that you look at this team and say, this is a team that can advance the playoffs, win a championship?
I mean, being in close games really helps, honestly. Last week's win, when they won on, last-second touchdown pass, that builds character and strength. And, I think one of the – yeah, go ahead.
All right, Lily, I want to hear the report. What do you got for us?
No problem.
All right, we got a kickoff here. We're going to send it down to our sideline reporter, Lily Peters, here when we get a second. But nice tackle by Drew Sanderson, number 10, the junior. Does a really nice job of getting him to about only 21-yard line. Lily Peters, thank you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Gavin, I spoke to head coach Junker going into the half, and he just heavily emphasized the need for his offensive linemen to understand their blocking assignments, because he fears that's the reason the run game hasn't been as productive as it can be. So he's coming out of the half, making sure all offensive linemen know their assignments up front and who to block and when. He also told me that he just wants to see more of a pass game. He wants to see more risks of being thrown down the field, because the run game has been working sometimes, but not a lot. And when I finished up with my short interview with Coach Junker, he actually turned back to me and said, Lily, don't worry, we got this. So we have a lot of confidence.
All right, we're back again. Oh, they got it the outside. They got a little grease.
Sideline, so he's not worried that they're not up by a lot of points. Gavin?
Backfield.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting what Coach Junk said, because I get it. That's also, you asked about a sign of a good team. Complacency is what you don't want to see. You get strength through adversity and winning those close games and building confidence that you can win even when you're behind or in a close game. But also a coach like that doesn't get complacent when you win and you're ahead. You've seen all the memes and videos of Saban when they're up 40-0 and he's yelling and calling somebody out. You need that, because you're not going to be able to blow out everyone on the way to state championship. So you need to get better as the season goes on. Coach always said, I get a flag here, but when you get to halfway point of the season, you either get better or worse, but you don't stay the same. And so I think, having a coach that stays on you after a bunch of big wins doesn't let you fall to that trap game. That's really important as you get to the later part of the season.
Well, so hopefully my players, if any, they're all here probably, but they can leave me alone now when we're up 27 in the third quarter, and I'm miserable still.
No, I mean, it's important. Really, it is. I mean, the teams that are happy-go-lucky and just win on talent, when you get in adversity, that's when they all turn on each other and can't win the close games.
Yeah, Coach Stelup always laughs. He says I'm constantly miserable in games regardless. First and 15 from the own 30 for Moon, and Moon's not a team that has thrown it that well, so they don't want to really get behind the sticks here, although this is a good, hard run. They're going to get a lot of that back. Get about 4 or 5 there on first down with Brana up the middle, but still pretty good stout stuff there at the town from Austin Middleton.
But that's what St. Clair can't let happen. They had first and 15 there. That's really hard for a running team. Moon's thrown the ball with some success. Obviously had the score earlier, so they have shown the ability to do it, but it's really hard when you start first and 15.
Yeah, Moon is missing their best receiver, who got suspended due to getting into a fight at the Baldwin game last week.
No.
That does help. All right, 2nd and 11 here for the Moon Tigers.
He got back on side.
He did. This is Brana. Oh, boy, did he get pushed wide. Who was in the backfield there? I'm trying to see.
Number 9?
Yeah,
8?
it was Beck Shields. The linebacker came in on a little bit of a fire there, and he pushed the running back deep.
Yep. If you disrupt their timing, that's what it is. It really lets everybody else get to the ball. And now, like we said, they started first and 15. You have one negative play, and here you are at 3rd and 12.
and that's not a good place for anyone to be.
No, and the Panthers, I feel like this game has always been like, okay, I'm comfortable, they're playing well, but this is way too close for my comfort.
Yeah.
If you can get a stop here and get a nice drive there, I think everybody would feel a lot better, particularly how fast the clock is moving in this game with all the
without
running.
a doubt. Although last week I probably would have taken a 21-7 lead with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, but totally, this is a run-heavy game. You don't want it to be – they score here, it's a one-possession game, so you don't want to ever let that get that close.
Throwback screen. Oh, that's a great open field tackle. Charlie Bywalski brought Brana down in his tracks. He had some room if he got
Without
by
a doubt,
him there.
if he got by him, he probably gets the first down, if not a lot more. Let's look at the replay here, but look, he's one-on-one in the open field. He breaks that, he's probably getting another 10 yards.
Boy, that's beautiful. And that's why a lot of the colleges want Charlie Bywalski. The athleticism, the toughness, and the smarts are off the charts.
Hooper also?
No, I wish he was. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Ooh, high snap. Panthers don't have a rush on it.
Ooh, bad kick.
Not
Get out
a
of the
great
way.
punt. It's going to bounce. I
Get out of the way.
thought Nico was going to get up and try to do
Yeah,
it
me too.
Houdini again, but that's still good field position
Yeah.
at the 33.
Especially, you're up 2 scores, you're running offense. It's almost good to have a little bit of longer field. If you can move the ball, take the air out of it, drive the field, eat the clock up.
Yeah, want to certainly. Oh my! This is going to be a great shout out. One of my absolute favorites. My main man Taylor Everett, number 88.
Oh yeah.
The man who did the famous punt return in the state semifinals game.
Unbelievable athlete.
He's kind of throwing shade at you right now. He said
Uh-oh.
only a few of us really know what it takes to win a state championship.
Ouch. Wow.
Can you believe that? Can you
Wow.
believe he'd come out like that?
I mean, I don't know, Taylor. It's been a while, so I guess I don't know that, but okay. He won it. He backed it up, so I won't say much, but
I'm going to tell a story the next play, too. Here comes Durazio. Oh, boy, that looked like a face mask, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think that was it.
Well, it doesn't matter. Sometimes my eyes deceive me. They've used that a lot. So Taylor Everett, I'm going to throw some shade at Taylor right now. He played a phenomenal game in the state championship, and he had something like 3 sacks. We were up 42-0 at the time.
No, he got his hand up there, but I don't know if he pulled it down.
Yeah, he may not have pulled. We were up 42-0 at the time, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But the team we played in that game did not have a first down until late third quarter, maybe fourth quarter. And the first down was because on his third sack, he did the Joey Porter stomp and got a 15-yard unsportsmanlike. Yep.
Well, I can tell you I never in my time had one of those, so I feel good about that.
Yeah, sportsmanlike. Come on, Taylor. You remember that. Yeah, you get an excessive celebration
Was
penalty.
he a captain? That's not very captain-like.
I think he was a captain,
Oh,
which is
man.
hilarious.
When we play, I mean, Sean Lee was obviously, as you know, my year, and was a very emotional leader. He was very vocal, and I would say I was, as you know, from the basketball court, Sean gets fired up. I always thought as a quarterback you wanted to be more composed, not too high, not too low. So I never really got as vocal as Sean did, or got a 15-yard penalty against me like Taylor.
So Bands is not going to get it there. Interesting. Moon's doing a really nice job of stringing it out and not
Looks
letting
like
him
they're
get
thinking
gashed.
about going for it. This fourth down, yeah. Looks like they're thinking about going for it here.
I mean, it's only 2 yards. I get it. And frankly, it's not like Moon has stopped them short much, but with a 14-0 lead late third quarter, and I am stupid aggressive,
Yeah.
I probably do not go here.
Yeah. It's like we said, though. If you get 3 yards every time, which is what they average on the run.
Oh, and they got him.
Wow.
The hard count.
Great
Boy,
coaching.
If you are Moon's coach right now, you have got to be
Livid.
absolutely beside yourself.
I mean, that's great coaching and also great discipline by the St. Clair offense. It's hard to do that. When you're a quarterback and you're doing a hard count, it's hard not to, if you're an offensive lineman, not to move. I mean, even though you know it's on 2, you know it's on 3, it's still hard to stay disciplined. So that's great coaching and great execution by the quarterback to use his voice to get the first down.
I know for a fact Tim McGarvey would have never jumped off sides there. It just wouldn't. It would not have happened. So the Panthers have a new set of downs here with 44 seconds and ticking in the third quarter. And boy, that is just a huge momentum shift in my eyes. Hopefully the Panthers can take advantage. This is Jules. And they are really sending guys up the middle here. He had about 4 guys before he could move there, but he got a yard.
But that first down, I mean, that drive right here, since we got the ball on the punt, is going to run out the end of the third quarter.
Well, so you're happy as a Panther fan right now. Maybe it hasn't been perfect today, but it's been really good. It's a really good opponent, and the Panthers lead 21-7 as we end the third quarter.
Yeah.
So, Josh, if you are Mike Junko right now, given where we are in the football game, what are you stressing right now during this tough quarter timeout?
Still a lot of football left, right? And we've seen them make a big play already, a splash play, one-handed catch, touchdown. We've had an interception. We picked the ball off. We could turn the ball over. We're not that. There's a lot of football left. We got to continue to stay disciplined, move the ball, and can't keep running. Give them the ball with the whole fourth quarter left. They get a quick score. There's eternity to go. So stay on schedule. We talked earlier. Move the football. Stay disciplined. Go for it.
Second and 9.
No trend.
It's like when they came out in a 4-4 defense, and I couldn't believe it. I hadn't seen that in years.
Exactly.
Here comes Hellman. There is the play action. Oh, I love this play. It's a wheel route.
Got
There's
him.
Vance.
Let's go.
He is wide open. John Banbury with smooth sailing ahead. Can he get there?
Yep,
Touchdown,
he's in.
Johnny
Let's go.
Banbury.
There
46
you go.
yards. What a play call from Coach Junk. Incredible stuff.
Just like you said, a little bit of different play call. Threw it out to the flat on a swing route and took it the distance. I mean, that's what happens when you have such a great run game. Nobody knows what to do with the running back out of the backfield.
I'll tell you what. I've not seen them run any semblance of that play this all season, but that is just a perfect play call. They caught the defense, and that was a nice throw and catch. Ethan got buried,
Oh, yeah.
and Vance made a nice catch.
And you know what? On the score sheet tomorrow, that's a 70-yard touchdown pass. They don't know that he threw it 10 yards to the flat, right? So, like we talking about messing with the numbers, you want to get those passing plays, those passing yards, show some diversity, and have that in your toolkit when you get in a close game. Now you're up 3 scores, but it's good to know that you have that when you're down a score or it's a close game. But the strong running game is what sets that up.
So, Josh, when you think about it now, you got inducted into an athletic Hall of Fame with some heavy hitters. And let's not kid ourselves. There are some really special, a lot of guys who played pro sports, and you've been hugely successful in your post-college career and everything like that. But how big of an honor is it, and what is sort of your feeling and your gratitude about the whole situation?
I mean, Upper St. Clair, as you know, is an amazing place to be from, an amazing community of people. I was fortunate to go to Yale, but it's amazing. I go back to the Yale football golf outing, and there's some important people there, Wall Street people, big finance people, big New York City lawyers, and come back to the Upper St. Clair golf outing, and there's Sean Casey and Kevin Ory and Doug Whaley and all these guys who've been in the NFL, the MLB. I mean, it's quite an impressive set of alums, and to be included in them and to share that with my family and be here and like such a special place, it really means more than I can probably convey in this short time.
Well, it's well-deserved. I'm proud of you. For those of you who don't know, Josh was on the first team I ever coached at Upper St. Clair, 2002 freshman basketball.
Great memory. I wish I could continue with basketball. You guys were Whitfield champions. We never got to say that for football, but it was great that my teammates and my teammates and classmates got that opportunity and that experience. It was fun to root you guys on my senior year.
Yeah, we got 4 of them now, and hopefully got big plans ahead this season. Yeah. So it's awesome.
Great.
Want to give a shout out to my USC Tech guys. It's a small crew today. which is okay. My man Todd is not here today. But Michael and Paul, thanks. You guys are the best, and just another fabulous season. I love you guys. I was joking with them earlier. We usually have a pretty big crew up here. Ray's usually up here, and Todd, and I was like, we have a 2-man crew today, but still unbelievable seamless.
Yep.
Now they got to throw, Josh. How about this? And Cross is going deep. He's looking downfield. It's good coverage.
Out of
bounds.
bounds.
Wow.
He's going to give it to him. I thought he was out.
That's an incredible catch because that was over his outside shoulder.
They're changing the ruling. I thought he was out also.
So
it was a hell of a play, but he still got to be in bounds, and I think he landed out of bounds.
Savario Vendetti is the guy. Again, you're seeing some different receivers from Moon because, as we've mentioned several times, when your top big play guy gets suspended due to a fight, and that's Jared Moyer.
I mean, it was a great throw. He just threw it about a second too late because he had to slow down, and he threw it a little bit outside, ended up pushing him out of bounds. It was a great catch, but unfortunately for them, landed out of bounds. Good thing for St. Clair.
That would have been incredible. Oh, what did I say? Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow. If I had some language issues there, I totally apologize, everyone.
I apologize also.
Okay, well, let's fire it up here. 2nd and 10. Cross. That's a nice QB keeper. Nice tackle there, though. They would look like they were fooled a little bit, but Nevin Sheegan-Siniawaski did a really nice job, the sophomore middle linebacker, and only about a gain of 3. That looked like that was going to be a nice big gainer there, too.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they can't have happen, though, is get behind the sticks. 3rd and long. They need to stay moving forward. 3rd and 6.
Yeah, well, the problem is when you go deep on first down.
Yep.
Right. And you don't get it.
Yep.
All right, so 3rd and 6 here. See if the Panthers are only rushing 3 here. Cross got a lot of space. And he
right
threw
through
it.
His hands. Good throw, yeah. Should have caught that ball.
When you have a Penn State baseball recruit, I think the fear is, can your guys really catch it?
Yeah.
And he fired that.
Yeah, that was a bullet, but hit him right in stride, right in the numbers, with space. That kid has to come up with the ball.
And sometimes, and this is why Coach Render loves the run, and this is sort of what you talked about. Completing passes at this level is hard, and it only gets harder as the weather progresses. So being able to run like the Panthers do is like a cheat code.
He used to say 3 things can happen when you throw the ball, and 2 of them are bad, right? You can get an incompletion, interception, and 1 out of 3 you can get a completion. So you got to get pretty good and be pretty confident in your passing game if you're going to throw the ball at this level.
Would you be surprised to know that was said in the first half?
No, I would not be surprised.
It's funny. Some of the people who listen, who just love to listen to Coach, gave me some references that they thought they'd hear, like Woody Hayes and Phil Dunn, and we nailed them all in the first half.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I loved it.
I text him. Sometimes I hear something vaguely familiar that he says. We saw one I was watching. Kirk Herbstreit said, "Never throw the ball late down the middle," which is a classic renderism. I texted him. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't know why you texted me that out of the blue." But there's a lot of good renderisms out there.
Coaches love to repeat each other. Right? We do the same thing in hoops. And, they sent everybody into the backfield there.
Oh, yeah.
I assume they don't think St. Clair's going to throw it again, but that's going to be about a 2-yard loss for Panbury.
I didn't give Coach credit, but I should have. I was at the Packers game last Sunday in Green Bay. It started raining. I was walking the field pregame with the official, the referee, and I said, "Man, I hope this rain keeps up." And he looked at me and said, "Why?" I said, "Well, so it doesn't come down," which is a classic renderism. I said, "It's my high school." He said, "That's a dad joke." I said, "Well, it's my high school football coach," but I didn't tell him that story yet. He'd be happy to hear it.
Oh, he loves dad jokes too. And I love him too. So, all right, 2nd and 12, time ticking in the 4th quarter. Panthers with the 21-point lead. This is Banbury again. God, he just does such a great job of going just north and south and making people pay.
Reminds me of the way Sean used to run the ball. Just doesn't get hit until a few yards downfield, and then when he gets hit, it takes 2 or 3 guys to really get him down or slow him down. And that's what allows you to get 6-7 yards on first down and keep moving the ball forward.
He's the greatest kid in the world, too. And as a sophomore, it's hard not to think the future is not very bright for John Banbury.
Yeah, wow. Helps with all those brothers.
Yeah, he got beat up a lot, I'm sure. 3rd and 4. Here's Bands again. He's going to get to that lead stick and more. Look at the line, push that pile. That is just Coach Render, I have to think, is just loving this right now. These statement, we know you're going to run, they know you're going to run, and you still can't stop it in the 4th quarter. Yeah, he's got a big smile behind me. This is just classic Jim Render football right now. I love it because at the end of the day, like you talked about, Josh, this is what wins consistently.
Yeah.
There is no there's no way to stop this, and it's weatherproof, it's
Exactly.
situation proof. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, the only risk is you get behind, and then you're in trouble. But that's why you saw they completed a long pass. They're continuing to do some of those things. You talked about how do you get deep in the playoffs as we get another solid run on first down. You need to be able to have those things in your toolkit. You need to get into tight situations and still complete a pass on to win the game like they did last week. That's what you need to have when you get into the playoffs and know that you can do that and not be intimidated by the situation.
Yeah, which is why it's beautiful to have a 3-year starting quarterback that's put up big numbers as a passer. You know, just because the strategy has changed this year doesn't mean the guy has changed.
Yeah.
Ethan is still very capable. He can really wing it. And I have a feeling that they've got some stuff.
Yeah.
Got some stuff if they need it. So
And it's great not to need it and still be 9-0, you know?
absolutely.
Not there yet, but a couple minutes, 8 minutes away from being 9-0.
This is Dallum again. He's got a little space. Nice block on the corner from Van
Inbounds,
Helman.
very good. Oh, late flag in on a hold.
They look like they're going to get Michael Albert. I didn't exactly see what happened. He's putting his hands up like he looked like he was inside the shoulder pads. But
Yeah,
Replay
I think
second
it
down.
happened after the
Replay
running
first
back was
down.
already by him, but unfortunately he got him and turned him a
Second
little
down.
bit. I don't know if we have a replay, but
Good flag.
I don't think it was crucial to the play, which is unfortunate.
all right, I got to give a shout out to one of my dear high school friends, Anthony Mastro, class of 1996. We won a couple Whippeal Golf Championships together, but he's been a great friend to me for a long time. Tone, thanks for tuning in, man. Great to hear from you, and give Sharon my love. So, we've obviously seen a lot as Upper St. Clair football lovers like you and I are. You do think, you're being clear, you do think this team has the chops.
Yeah, when you can run the ball and stop some of the elite offenses, which they've already proven they can do in the Whippeal, I think anything's possible. You get into the tournament, which last year 8-2, and they still didn't get into the tournament, which is hard to believe. But if you get into the postseason and you have a good defense and a good run game, I think anything's possible.
Yeah, and I look forward to it. I mean, it feels like it's been playoff games the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I look, I love every week, but I really look forward to when the stakes are raised. It just feels different.
When the weather gets a little colder, when the football starts to matter, I mean, it's great. And we, the people that don't live here anymore, I think are so grateful for what you and the crew does and puts these games online. I know you've shared with me people watch from all over the country, and you have a lot of people that watch it, but we're so grateful to be able to get to see it and not just follow the newspaper scores the next day.
They got a man. It's just off the fingertips. Pretty nice throw.
Yeah.
Would have been a really tough catch from Charlie, but this is what I like to see, though, Josh. You can see it's there. I mean, they can do all of this stuff.
Yeah, let's look at the throw. I mean, it was a great route. He got behind the defense and just missed it. I mean, it was a good throw just off his fingertips, but it's great to be able to see they can do that. They need that. That helps keep the defense honest and allows them to run the ball when they need to.
Yeah, and I'll be perfectly honest. It's one of these things where, okay, you do the stuff because it's working, but having being versatile and things like that, especially in games where, hey, we got a chance to surprise somebody, or, okay, before we get behind the sticks or whatever, we may bring it out, and it's nice to know it's there.
So besides the teams we beat the last 3 weeks, I know St. Clair's ranked number 1. Who are the other people that really they should be worried about as we think about heading into the playoffs here?
I'm glad you asked that. I had this conversation with a couple of the St. Clair coaches before the game. So here's the way we think it's going to look. I haven't been scoreboard watching tonight. I probably should have been, because there's a big game with the other top team in 5A that is not in the conference, the one, Pine Richland. They play North Allegheny. Now, Pine Richland is excellent, but they have not played the resume that St. Clair has, except for their win over Central Catholic. But if they were to beat NA and beat the top 2 6A teams, very good chance they're the 1 seed. And this is a good segue here in terms of what our upcoming schedule is. But so the Panthers, as you've seen, those are the last 3 games they have played. And then next week will be Baldwin end the season, which Peter Township is just murdering Baldwin right now, as you would expect. So we're basically looking ahead now. The Panthers think they could very easily get a bye, 1 or 2 seed, I think is the way this works.
Okay, so there's buys now. Okay, that's
And then in terms of the way I think the seedings are going to be, Woodland Hills is the other one. I think they only have 1 loss.
Okay.
And it was also to a very good team. And so the seeding is going to – the top 5 teams are St. Clair, Peters, Bethel Park, Woodland Hills, Pine Richland. It just will be interesting to see how they seed it.
Great traditional football schools. When I was here, we never got to play Woodland Hills.
Oh, that's a beautiful.
Great.
It's a dime to Dallin.
On
Great throw from
4th and
Ethan.
15 downfield. When they need to do it, they're doing it, which is great to see. And to your question earlier, I mean, gives you a lot of confidence. One of the Moon players is down. We'll stop here.
Official timeout for an injured player.
And Jules is limping, which as a football fan and as his basketball coach, I do not want to see.
No, but hopefully he looks all right. He looks like he's shaking it off. But that was a great throw on 4th and long to get the first down there.
So to give you an update on that score, as I check while we have a break with an injured player, NA and Pine Richland are tied at 14. So Pine Richland's obviously got the goods because they're battling the best of 6A.
Yep.
It'll be interesting. I mean, one of my favorite expressions is styles make fights, and sometimes games are very interesting based upon the styles of your opponent. And does it force you to do different stuff, or can you sort of make the game played the way you want to play it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully they don't see them until they get to Acrisure Stadium. If that is that where the 5A is this year? I know they've been rotating. I felt that was such a special thing, and it was a shame that when we went to 6 classifications that not everyone got that opportunity to play there. I'm sure everyone feels the same way, but I understand why it's hard to hold 6 championship games there.
Yeah, and I believe it is.
And knowing the and we'll take a look here who we got coming up. But I know talking to the Steelers people and the Roonies, and they value it too. So we see here, this is what you said. We have Baldwin the last week,
and we'll be back at home. So we will be back on the broadcast. But rest some guys maybe, and you don't want to take anybody for granted. But everybody's been smacking them. I'll tell you what, and Moon has a very tough game, although. If you want to hear a crazy score, Bethel Park is up on South Fayette 35-7.
Oh, wow.
And that may be to get in the playoffs because
this game coming up.
It may for Moon. I'm guessing there's only going to be,
well, they'll be 4 and 5 if they don't pull this out.
And they think 4 teams might get in from this section. Here's Banbury. They changed the whole system up after last year's debacle where we didn't get in as 8 and 2.
Which is absolutely crazy. I'm glad they changed it and fixed that.
Absolutely, but it's crazy because at the end of the day, you want the best football teams here come November when it gets, and I've seen all of these teams, and South Fayette, I thought we really shot ourselves in the foot a lot in that football game, but they're very capable. They get multiple on offense, and that's a team that you wouldn't want to play.
Yeah.
Bethel aside tonight, apparently they're still mad about last Friday.
Yeah. Well, that was an unbelievable game. I mean, I was watching it in New York, and it was as exciting as any college or pro game I've seen. It was awesome. And to win it on a pass at the end of the game like that, just phenomenal.
Oh, they're going to throw again here. So you're getting your practice in, Josh. Here's Hellman.
Took him down. Incidental.
They're going to say incidental contact, but it's hard to believe considering how much that was. Who knows? Oh, hey, I just got a shout-out from my brother Ryan, who I've been mentioning in terms of beating me up as a child, and he said he heard enough of my voice growing up. I do want to wish my nephew Max a very happy birthday. It is his birthday today, Ryan.
How old?
I think he's 13 now.
Wow.
I could be dead wrong, but it's crazy to think I have a nephew that old when I have kids that are 4 and 1. But most people have kids at normal ages. I just decided not to do that.
There's no normal.
No, I guess not. All right, so we've got 3rd and 4 at the 15 here. The Panthers are, practicing their passing game, but as you expect in 3rd and 4, they're going to bang it. And here's Bands. Look at that forward lean and that drive. He's going to get about half of it.
Now, I know they want to move the clock and, get a first down and run the clock out. But if I were them, I'd kick the field goal, get some. We just got a flag, which may give them the first down or back them up. If it backs them up, I would definitely kick it here. Give him a chance to kick a field goal. Get some experience when you need to make a kick. Not that it's a crucial field goal here, up 28-7, but
after the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
They did.
Number
Wow.
55.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably beside the point at this point, but that's the second major penalty to kind of keep a drive going. And Ryan Lynn's teams are known for being well coached. This will probably be an ugly film session tomorrow.
Yeah, I had my fair share of those with Coach Render. but it's a sign of a good coach.
Yeah, and Coach Junko, I mean, this Panther team has barely been penalized tonight, so that's just another thing to look at in terms of just really disciplined football game from them.
Absolutely.
No turnovers and very few penalties.
And a team that runs the ball like they do, to not get any holding, major holding penalties, and to keep on schedule is really impressive.
All right, here's Bands banging it up the middle. Going to get about 2. Most of this right now is, we got about 5 minutes to go in this game. You're running some clock. Both my mom and my brother are like, he's 15. What a terrible uncle I am. I'm not even close.
You're busy. That's okay. You knew it was his birthday. That's half the battle.
Oh, dear. Give a shout out to my mom, the greatest person on earth, who watches every single broadcast and gives me the most unbelievable unconditional support. Mom, you're the best. Nobody is better for my ego than Mom. And Mikey Bernard giving me a shout out too. Mikey, I saw Caroline at the game, so I'm guessing the rest of the crew is watching it in front of the fire. Unless she left. It was getting pretty cold. 2nd and 6 here for the Panthers with the clock ticking down. It looks like it's going to be a timeout.
Yeah, by St. Clair.
So, all right.
Timeout.
If you are
Upper St. Clair.
a football
They're second
coach
in the
right
half.
now, Josh, and you have what's supposed to be a layup next week and then, maybe even a bye, what is sort of your focus then going forward? It's almost like a totally different season now.
Yeah, but especially with the bye, I think you treat next week like any other game, and you play your starters. You don't want anybody to have 2 weeks without football and get out of rhythm and out of sync. I think what's good, as you talked about, is having a strong run game is something that, maybe not as subject to the rust as something like passing that is so dependent on timing. But even with the run game, the calls, the new protections, I think you need to have consistency and stay working together and get them some exposure next week. And then you get ready for the playoffs and figure out, make sure all these things that they haven't had to use, the passing game, the special teams, getting the onside kicks, the field goals, all that is going to come into play almost certainly as you get into the playoffs and get a close game. And so you need to make every chance to hone those things in, because when you need it, it needs to be ready.
Do you think, now you have daughters regardless, but do you think at some point, if you had time in it, you would love to coach football?
I'd love it. I don't know that I could be the motivator that like Coach Render is, and but the strategy part of it, I love that.
There are different types of coaches,
Yeah,
man. Like,
without a doubt.
it's going to be a Dallin throw, and he does a smart thing and throws it away. Did he get it past the line of scrimmage? Yeah, it looks like it.
Or if somebody was in the area.
Oh, and I think they were. Yeah, good call. Carter Stein, the fullback, was. The one thing I love about Jules is when he was younger at the quarterback position in particular, I thought he forced stuff some.
Yeah.
He's really been smart in terms of his throwing chances.
Which is, I think that's what allowed me to be a quarterback early on for Coach Render was, so much of the game is mental, especially in his offense. But I think with Junko too, is you need to make the right decisions. Part of it's having a strong arm and being athletic and moving around, but part of it is making the right decisions and using your head.
Yeah, and he's really shown a lot of maturity. Ethan Hellman has this year. He and Jules, they'll. And I don't want to be jinxing us, but the number of turnovers this year, in terms of how low that number is, that we've won the turnover differential almost every football game, and it may be a school record in terms of the least number of turnovers.
Wow, that's great.
I've seen of a football team.
So now it's 4th down here, and looks like we're going to go for it, which I understand that either score and put it out of reach, or stop it and make him go the whole length of the field. But like I was saying, I think you want to get your kicker some experience and get him some reps, but
Jacobo's kicked a good bit this year. So,
has he?
Yeah, he has. So, all right, it's going to be 4th and goal from the 5. It'll be interesting to see if they try something different here. Ethan's rolling left. That's that same play they threw to Beck Shields earlier, and that's going to be a touchdown. That's
awesome.
not an easy throw, is it, Josh?
No, it's not. On the run, hit him perfectly in stride. There was about one place he could put it. If he underthrows that, that's a pick six the entire length of the field. Hit him in stride, let him out front, and just gets in the end zone to put the game away.
My man, Charlie Bawalski, when Chuck, he doesn't get that many balls thrown to him, but he seems to get in the end zone a lot, so I'm happy for
great
Chuck.
play by him to catch it on the run and still have the wherewithal to find the end zone and get in.
Yeah, again, Hellman, this dude can really throw the football. It doesn't seem like it because we run so much.
Well, he has 2 passing touchdowns tonight. I think he's shown that they can do it when they need to.
And I feel bad for him in a way because these dudes put up huge numbers for 2 years, and he has to read in the paper about we didn't complete a pass or something like that. And I'm thinking, you haven't seen this kid play football. He's really good. And if you know Ethan, he's super competitive. And so, look, if the game's on the line for me, I want the ball in his hands. The dude's a winner.
Sometimes that's part of a great team, though, is the balance, right? And so, you'll win some games like that, and some he'll win the game. And, you hope you never have to pick one or the other, and you don't get into a really tight game. But if they do, it's great to know that they have this in their repertoire.
Yeah, so 35-7. I'll tell you what, Josh, I would not have, if you'd have said they're going to win this game 35-7 tonight, I just didn't see it. Not because I don't think we are this caliber team. I know we're good.
Yep.
But this is a really good Moon team. And they, if you look at their schedule and their results, and we have them in front, nobody's beaten this team like that at all. Their most lopsided loss this year so far, I think, is 9.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is... Yeah, they've lost by 9,
Yep.
2, and 7.
Yeah, wow. I mean, first, not that long ago it was a 2-score game, but I think...
Oh, boy, this is
Bob's
trouble.
in kickoff here, yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, no, he got through. Very nice return. Wow. Had him pinned deep. Jake Caceres, 41. The senior brings him down at about the 29.
But what's especially impressive is coming off of the last 3 wins that they've had, to still stay focused on this game and play a complete game like they're doing now. Even it was a close game at halftime, relatively close, to stay focused and disciplined and continue to put the pressure on and get up 35-7. I think that's what's most impressive to me is even if this team is very solid, they've just beat 3 solid teams in a row. It's hard, like Coach Render talked about, a trap game. It's hard when you just had those emotional wins to stay on top of stuff.
And kudos, to me, that's kudos to Coach Junko and his staff, and kudos to the seniors because, in my experience, that happens because you've got great leadership from the coaches and great leadership from your seniors.
I agree, and I got to think that last year, the way they got sort of taken advantage of by the Whitfield scoring system has got to be a motivator for them as they look to get into the playoffs this year without any doubt. Last year they should have, and this year they're saying not leaving it up to chance.
I just loved, and I said this in the first half, but all summer, spring, everything in this offseason, they wore these T-shirts that had a number 4 on the back. And what the number 4 was how they finished in the conference. So they didn't focus on 8 and 2. They focused on 4th place. And every day they went to lifting and every day they went to workouts, they were wearing those shirts with number 4 on the back.
Great.
So you had to stare that in the face. And kudos to Junk or whoever came up with that because that was a beautiful bit of motivation. And if you don't think that was every day in their sleep, so
I love it.
I think they've done a masterful job this season, plain and simple. The staff, Coach Junko, and it's really manifested itself in some great performances here.
Speaking of, I've seen it once before this weekend, but seeing the new weight room and the facilities here, I mean, I think a lot of my college teammates would be impressed that it's not a college facility. It's really amazing the facilities that the guys have here to work out every day.
Every one of my kids who've played D3 sports comes back into our weight room and says,
"You got a flag on Moon for a late push here."
Yeah, they've sort of lost their cool. They've gotten pushed around a little bit, but everybody comes back to the weight room and says, this is better than my D3 weight room or whatever.
Without a doubt.
And that's a tribute to, there's a lot of people in Upper St. Clair who are very committed to excellence here.
Absolutely.
And that's from everything from our school board to our parents to
the community,
alums.
the alums, and specifically we raised a bunch of money
After
to
the
honor
play,
Coach Render a few years ago and
personal
made a big
foul,
donation
unnecessary roughness.
to the school,
Offense
which was
number
put towards the
75.
weight room.
That foul
And they
occurred
really did a
after the
wonderful
first
job,
down.
not only with
It'll
the
be
weight room,
15
but the
yards
hallway
from the
outside
spot.
of the weight room,
First and 10
honoring
move.
some of the alums. It's really a wonderful to see.
So I want to talk about that for a second. So David Carson was inducted into the Hall of Fame last night, class of 1975. He was inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame. He's done incredible work for children with learning disabilities. David Carson was an all-state football player and was one of the stars on our 1975 first Whitfield Championship team in school history. So he and Jeff Delaney, who played at Pitt in the NFL, and some other guys from that team, after the ceremony was over last night, I took them around on a kind of a tour of the facilities. I wanted to take Jeff Delaney over and see his little shrine on the wall over there.
He hadn't seen it.
No.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, they just thought it was one of the coolest things in the world. What it does is it speaks to all that Upper St. Clair football has been. and it's been a lot to a lot of people in terms of success, in terms of the things it has brought our community, in terms of attention and prestige, and I think it should be celebrated, and I think we're doing a great job of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And of course, you can't forget the trophy, the Panther statue down at the top of the stadium with a dedication to Coach Render.
All right, they're going to run it here, and they're going to they're breaking into the open field here. Josh Snyder, number 3, has closed him down. And it looks like Caffrey Duplessis, number 5, but not for a long gain. Probably the longest gain of the day for Moon so far.
Minute to go. You can't let up. I assume some of the second team is in there.
They are.
But, the first team worked so hard all game. Second team gets an opportunity. I know there's a lot of pride. You don't want to let a late score just for pride and just get your opportunity. Need to make sure to keep them out of the end zone here.
Yeah, they're in more of a base defense instead of the 4-4 they've been playing. That's looks like some of the problem. Here's that little end around play. He's got a lot of room here. DeSora can't bring him to the ground. He's going to get to the outside, inside the 10 to the 5. And it's funny, this doesn't matter, but a lot of the games this year we're crushing people, and we've subbed liberally and not tried to run up the score. And so I hope that doesn't bite them in the butt, come seeding and things like that, because I think it shows a ton of class from coach. And we could have mercy ruled 5 teams, and I just don't think there's anything to gain by that.
I agree with you. I mean, you want to get everyone experience because you never know when you're going to need that second and third teamer to step up, especially if the way the state playoff works, you play 16 games, you play an NFL schedule, so you need the depth.
It's crazy. I mean, Mike Quealy said, when I asked him what was one of the biggest things about his 89 state championship team, he said health. Because one big injury in high school and you can be in trouble. Oh, that's nice pursuit. That's Drew Sanderson, number 10. Great job from my man from Canada. He really did a good job. But Anthony Bunn, the sophomore, number 99, did a really good job of stringing that out too.
He moved down here from Canada?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Had he played football up there?
I have no idea. I haven't heard the backstory. He's a great kid. He's a hooper too. Yeah, that's a nice
Last play of the game here, 6 seconds. Just keep him out of the end zone. Let's get out of here, 9-0. Another end around.
Here it goes.
Go.
That's a nice form tackle by Nevin Sheegan and
34,
Siniawoski. And that is beautiful stuff. The final score, the Panthers with an emphatic 35-7 win over Moon to move to 9-0 on the season. Just phenomenal stuff.
Great.
Way to celebrate Hall of Fame night.
Yeah, awesome. And like you said, way to finish strong. Get out of here. Leave no doubt. Be 9-0. If you win all your games, that's all you can do.
Yeah, and I have to imagine that winning a game like this, where it was not really in much doubt in the second half, and winning with an emphatic performance where you're gonna send this score to people, and they're gonna look at it and say, "Whoa, St. Clair is really clicking right now."
Yeah, especially the Murderers Row. You mentioned that they just finished beaten, and St. Clair is looking good. They looked in all facets of tonight: running, passing, defense. They look strong at every part of the game.
And that is the key, really. I mean, we've talked about it. They've had aspects of the game that have been really strong each week, but this may have been their most complete performance I've seen of the season, given the opponent.
Well, I look forward to following the rest of the broadcast through you. Hopefully they'll let you do an away game if we get any of those in the playoffs, but I know at least the first one, it looks like we'll have a home game, so look forward to watching you the rest of the season, staying up on the team.
I appreciate that, brother. I tell you what, I would do as many of these as they would let me do. I love it so much. And frankly, I'm getting some offers from some Panther alums that I didn't think would do this broadcast with me.
That's great.
That seems like they might be willing to.
Awesome. We need some of the older generation.
Oh, I think they're the greatest because they're the ones that sort of they can provide some more color that maybe some of us can't. They've seen a lot, particularly ones like Mike Quealy, who excelled and then have been around watching and following the program, for as long. They just have a perspective that a lot of people don't have.
Without a doubt.
So they're going to go down and do the alma mater down here, which is one of my favorite parts. The students that still stay down there, do their celebrating. And
we started this when I was here, and I didn't remember it being such a big thing, but we got a letter from parents of the band that said how important this was to their children that were in the band, and it was a really powerful letter that I saved. And so when we were seniors, we started doing this.
Who came up with the idea? Do you know?
I don't remember. I honestly just remember. I knew we did this, and I remember the letter that we got from the band parents, how important it was and how meaningful it was.
I think
they may have done it before us, but we never did it my freshman and sophomore year. And then when we started to do it my senior year, it really meant a lot, I guess. So.
I think that's probably right. I just believe part of high school football is tradition and pageantry and stuff. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I know they're trying to get. I think Lily is down on the sidelines, and I think she's trying to get down there for maybe to do a player of the game thing. But in the interim here, the one thing I want to point out is it was such a complete team effort tonight. It wasn't like it was one guy who was just really outstanding, like a Dallum or somebody like that. It was really a great team effort.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. Like I said, I mean, I think it was really all parts of the game, and so, excited to see what they can do the rest of the way here. Looks like she's lining up your man.
Yeah, he's going to be the
John
player.
Bamberry, who had an unbelievable game on the long touchdown pass and catch, and heck of a player.
Yeah, John, sophomore running back / linebacker Johnny Banbury is going to be our player of the game, and deservedly so. He's been absolutely outstanding the last several weeks, particularly in Dante Corey being injured. And, boy, he was just really terrific tonight, carrying the load. All right, let's send it down to Lily Peters with our player of the game.
Yes, I'm here with our player of the game, John Banbury. He's a sophomore running back here on Upper St. Clair. Now, John, you scored 3 touchdowns. I feel like every time you got handed the ball, you were able to find a gap up the middle. Why was your run game so successful tonight?
Mainly, I just give it all to the linemen. I mean, I got linemen giving me feedback every play. Make this cut, we're making this block, and I just feed off that feedback, and we make plays.
Yeah, I've noticed you guys have such great communication. And how does it feel to be part of a historic team like this? You're undefeated. You have one more game left in the regular season. Then you're going to postseason. How does it feel to be a part of this historic team?
It's an honor. I mean, I have an older brother who went to the Whitfield Championship. They fell short. I want to make sure this year that my team, we make sure we get there and we get the deal done.
Yeah, and speaking of Whitfield Championship, you're going into the postseason soon in playoffs. What are your personal goals for this postseason?
Just keep playing as hard as I can. I mean, that's all I can really do in the game, and just make sure I do everything to the best of my ability and trust my coaches and my teammates.
So are we expecting a Whitfield Championship from Upper St. Clair?
I can guarantee you we're going to work as hard as possible. Can't guarantee anything, but we will work for it.
Oh, well, great game, John. I'll send it back up to you, Gavin.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, so your final thoughts, Josh. Any major takeaways here from what was obviously a really sort of dominant, emphatic performance in the Panthers tonight?
I think one was the overall mental fortitude of the team, avoiding the trap game, coming off of the 3 emotional wins. That was huge. But then just the completeness, the running game, the defense, the passing. First time I've really seen that in the few games that I've seen this year. So I think it was just a complete team win, and they are, as Coach said, getting better in the second half of the season, which is what you want to see as you head into the playoffs.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. It is just always a treat to have you up
Thanks
here
for
and back
having
in
me.
town. Congratulations again. What a special weekend for you. Thank you, Coach Render. It's always a blessing to have you up here. We may do it again next week. For Coach Jim Render, for Josh Helmerich, I'm Gavin Williams. Congrats to the Panthers. See you next week for Baldwin.
Thanks.